Battery fully charged. Launch ready for AEW Spark in 3, 2, 1. All Elite Wrestling discussion is live. Cue host Noah Foster.
Another week has passed, and you know what that means. I'm back, folks, as well. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again, where we reignite the conversation on all things All Elite Wrestling right here at AEW Spark. You know what this is, courtesy of FPW Productions. I am the simple man of the simple brand, and my name is Noah Foster. And with me tonight, providing his color analysis, representing Weymouth Youth Wrestling's, is XERO Zero. Zero, how are you? Welcome to AEW Spark.
I'm doing gravy. I just got done sucking my own dick, so I'm ready for this joint. But anyways, I am Zero. I am also the voice actor for Namir Sagat, the one and truly Black Panther. And I can't wait to start kicking these crackers out of the company. So yeah.
Hey, I'm white. What the hell, man? I thought we were cool.
Speaking of which, shout
Listen,
out to,
brother.
of course, brainchild of Weymouth Youth Wrestling, James Ebert.
Hi, I'm producer man today.
Yeah.
Yes, he is producer man, but I also want to appreciate the work that he's been doing in my absence. So it's nice to see that some things never change. But without further ado, as I like to always work with all sorts of different minds too, Zero, let's get right into it. So, of course, we're going to talk about the last week of AEW content. Of course, we are talking about Dark Elevation, Dark Dynamite, which took place in Pittsburgh, and Rampage. We'll kick things off, of course, with AEW Dark Elevation. As always, I like
We
to
gotta
honor
elevate,
my sources.
baby.
There
We
you
gotta
go.
elevate.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta rise to the occasion when it's presented to you. Thank you, by the way, to All Elite Wrestling and PW Mania for my notes that I'll be referring to as we talk about the week. So the last session of AEW Dark Elevation, and yes, folks, I'm still recovering from everything. It's April 17th, 2023. We kick things off with the creme de la creme, Ashley Dubois, who's been impressing her recent showings, more so particularly in Ring of Honor, but is no stranger also to AEW. And she took on another person that's no stranger to this environment. Sup, motherfuckers? Mikey Ito returned. Good God Almighty.
Man, I'm gonna say this, man. Fuck you, Maki, bro. I was watching her match until she flipped me off, bro. I'm like, fuck it, bro. I'm not doing.
That's what
this
she does,
bullshit.
dude. She flips everybody off.
Flip me off, man. I mean, I hope Nick Gage just takes this motherfucker, but yeah. So she come down the entrance, and I'm gonna say this: her Titantron makes me want to take psychedelics because golly, them colorful scars just almost about to make me feel some type of way. She comes down the ramp, singing her song, great song, and I still need to know her album. But yeah, but there was one thing that the commentators point out, which is Paul White and the god and the god of the JAS, Matt Menard, and they was pointing out how she got into wrestling, and there was more to how she got into wrestling than her being kicked out from an idol. From what I know and from what I saw, she was in an idol group. She did get kicked out, but something about her not being cute and all that. But
yeah.
now then she went, pin up her ranks of her Tokyo Choshi Pro, and she became how she is now with one of the best moves ever, the Kokushi, also known as the damning, also known as the falling headbutt, by just you falling. So yeah.
Now, real quick before you guys continue on, I just wanted to let you guys know one of you probably should get the chat box up so that way you keep track of whoever's commenting, because I forgot to mention that before we went on the air. Right. Otherwise, continue.
So
I usually don't have the chat box up, but all right, keep that in mind.
I got you.
It's a fair analysis, Zero, because sometimes, yeah, they do actually give us a bit of a backstory. And for those that don't know, yeah, Mikey Ito wasn't always like this per se. She was literally a pop star that kind of got rejected for who she was. And when that didn't work out, she looked towards professional wrestling and made something out of it since. I mean, hey, if you can get along in the same sort of background with the likes of Minoru Suzuki, that has to mean something, right? So whatever you want to call Mikey Ito, call her effective, call her over, call her your winner, as again, she did get the better of Ashley Dubois. Of course, with the impromptu Kokeshi after Ashley drop kicked her into the ropes and she just literally turned stiff and fell on her own, which I thought was rather innovative.
For
Modified
those who
single leg
don't
Boston Crab countered into the
do it,
Ito Deluxe, as
mhm.
her submission is known, and Mikey Ito got the win.
For those who don't know, she is actually a doll that is, stiff and all that. So, little fun fact there.
Hey, all you
So
gotta do is
yeah,
go.
on my so like from my notes is basically first start off fuck you Maki, of course. Then the Titan Charm makes me put and take shrooms. That's fun. And what else? There was a step over wheel kick that uh what's that girl name?
Ashley
Not
Dubois.
bruh. I would never remember that at all. She did a step over wheel kick that was like uh, to a pin, which I did notice, and then she hit the Kokeshi Monkey Deluxe and fuck you too. So yeah,
Magito, F the world, but it doesn't
for
matter
sure
because she's still the cutest in the world, and you people are
she
just
is.
stuck with it.
Yep,
Deal
she
with it.
is. Hell,
Yeah,
she had a
again,
she even teamed with Nick Gage, so that gave her some props. So that's fun.
oh yeah, she's been all over. GCW, Prestige, of course, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling is her home
Hmm.
turf. So yeah, again, Makito, she made a name for herself and still goes along with it. So good for her.
For sure.
I mean, you got to have that sort of like balance of competitiveness and entertainment value, and she does that with her little sing along that she does. So we'll see the next time Mikey Ito shows up. And speaking of entertaining, you talked about the man on commentary. It's
My
called him like the
boy.
suppressed god or propaganda machine of the upper side, whatever the
Yes,
hell you call them.
that is my boy right there, bro.
That's your
Crazy
boy.
eyes. Crazy eyes.
Well, I mean, Crazy Eyed Matt Menard tagged alongside Cool Hands Angelo Parker and Big Hoss Jake Hager to take on the trio of Jake Thomason, Mike Magnum, and the reality Zach Clayton straight out of New Jersey. And of course, this is all stemming with the fact that the Jumper Society has been trying to recruit the Acclaim, who of course rejected them, and now they're looking to basically make them join by force, based on an upcoming match we're talking about that happened on Wednesday. Pretty much the reality here, this was a one-sided affair. I mean, your boy kicked things off early with a kick straight to Jack's leg and then followed up with a back elbow strike, whipping him in the corner and just raining down right hands, asking him how you like that. How's that a taste for you? Next thing you know, his 2.0 other half, Angel Parker, comes in, and he and Mike Magnum, and I'm not talking about Magnum PI, folks.
Are you talking
Basically,
about
they were
Magnum
part of
Condom?
what? Oh
Are
yeah,
you talking
yeah.
about Magnum Condom? Yeah,
Uh,
Magnum.
Well, that's true, but I don't think none of that was involved here. Although,
God
again,
damn it.
you're trying to add scissoring to your group, so maybe there should be a little bit of safety involved here. But
If
what
your
do I
name
know?
is Magnum, the first thing that will come straight to my head is Magnum Condom. So
Well,
yeah,
fair enough. Again, wherever your mind goes, who follows.
I
As
wonder.
Parker, talks about his hair and then delivers a nice snapmare and then follows up with a single leg drop kick and then big hoss Jake Hager and his the hat he loves, that purple bucket hat. I don't think even Gator would wear that, but that's just my opinion. He follows up and does big man things, literally delivering a double suplex, but then catches them both with a counter suplex. Then the reality comes in, stares down Hager. I was like, this would be an interesting singles match if it happened. And then next thing you know, turn around, double clothesline to teammates, and he's like, you know what, whatever. You all finish this. And as Zach Clayton took his lead, Hager delivered a power slam. Matt Menard came in, and Angelo Parker came in, and they hit Thomason with the double DDT, the 2 for the show, for the 1-2-3, Jericho Appreciation Society, and victory.
The only thing I wrote on my notes is I like this hat.
Well, Jake
Like
Hager would approve
literally.
that note.
No, it's like I'm gonna be honest with you. That match was it was a blur to me because it was just so one sided that I
Right.
literally just blacked out. So yeah, so like it was a match, and speaking of those 10 punches, during the first match, Paul White said, "Why don't you do them? Why don't you do them? 10 punches on your match?" And Matt was like, "Okay, bet." So he did the 10. So he did the 10 punches, got his ass back on commentary for the next match.
And he still probably was in his wrestling gear, if I have to guess.
Hey man, my man, I bet he walks around the house. With the, man, I bet he walks around the house with just no shirt on because he's always ready. So
Jeez.
yeah,
Well, as long as he's not taking shots at Chelsea Green, then I think he's safe.
he should probably try. But
I don't know if Macardona and Steph Delano would appreciate that. Again, they're not locked in prison. Just saying.
True.
Anyway, well, I mean, you talked about, tag team wrestling. You talked about being one-sided. I mean, this one kind of was a similar formula, except it wasn't trios. It was a tag team affair. And basically, the Hardy Party took their shots. Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy took on Bobby Orlando and Brett Goslin. And at least here, there was a bit more of a back-and-forth dynamic when you consider that, moreover, Hardy, yeah, he got the pop tab, but then Isaiah Cassidy, he's the one that's in there, putting in the work, trying to show what he can do as a more so single standout from Private Party since Mark Quan is still injured, folks. Cassidy, though, catches Brett on the inside with a stunner, sends him off the top turnbuckle to the outside. And then, well, you talked about raining down hands. Here's Isaiah raining down hands on Orlando in the corner, following up with a clothesline. Orlando fights back, though, whips Cassidy into the corner, and Cassidy and Gosling got a little bit of separation away from Matt Hardy for a moment until there was a boot and then a quick tag to Matt Hardy, who, of course, gave us the three faces of deletion, the deletions into the top, the middle, and the bottom turnbuckles for whatever reason. That's a whole different form of headbanging, I guess. As Orlando tried to come in on behalf of his tag team partner, though, Hardy catches him with a side effect, tags Cassidy back in, who delivers a splash off Matt Hardy's back. Okay, a little bit of extra elevation for you, pun intended. But then Matt Hardy finishes things off with the Twist of Fate and has Isaiah Cassidy hit the Swanton Bomb, and the Hardy Party continue to roll forward with momentum and the win.
Dog, I'm gonna be honest with you. This match, there's like two things that I remember from this match. One is the Hoya, and two is the fact I forgot which guy, Brett or Bobby, on their pants, well, shorts. It literally says "your mom" on his ass, bro. That that literally caught me all off guard because the reason why that caught me is because the whole match was, it was a standard tag match. Party Hardy, being goats. So yeah. And another thing, whoever making these whoever making these Titantrons need to stop because with Hardy's Titantron with the green lights, it makes me feel like I already took more shrooms than I already did with Maki Ito's. But other than that, it was a standard match. Party Hardy bringing the party and the Hardy,
Yeah.
which will lead into, I believe, the Dynamite or Rampage.
Well, considering they
So
still their contracts are still under control of one Stokely Halfway, and we're waiting for the firm deletion to officially have a date. You're definitely right as this is bleeding into Dynamite Rampage, and we'll talk more about that subtly as we get to our Elevation main event, which was a nice debut. And again,
it was a quick match, but it was actually pretty effective.
well, for what it was worth, it
Mhm.
needed to be. It basically was what it needed to be on both halves. Ame Sakura, Your Highness, took on the debuting Mizuki. And for those that don't know, Mizuki is the tag team partner and rival of one magical girl, Yuka Sakazaki, for Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. They have exchanged championships singles-wise with each other in bitter rivalries and great matches, and they've also been tag team champions together. In fact, I think she's a three-time Princess of Princess tag team champion with Yuka herself. Anyway, In the early going, though, Emi sent Mizuki crashing into the mat and just raining down hands in the corners, and then proceeded to chop her, and then tossed her around and trapped her in a bolt and arrow before, once again, we will chop you came into play until Mizuki was able to counter with a nice T Harris. And we saw a little bit of what Mizuki was capable of here with a nice crossbody off the middle rope and a senton follow-up. Both women go crash into the outside until Emi Sakura hits the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. That's always a difference maker. And some more chops following that. And then the running crossbody, but thankfully Mizuki got out of the way, and Sakura crashes into the steel ring steps. Talk about literally putting your own body in harm's way. Especially when gravity can't stop you from crashing into the steps. Ouch. And following that, Mizuki pulling a page out of Riho's playbook to the double stomp off the top rope and toss Sakura back inside the ring for a quick fall. Not quite enough. As she executes a, whirling dervish type move. I think she calls it the whirling candy, actually.
Yeah.
And gets a pin out of it. But Emi Sakura kicks out of that, then falls up with a drop toe hold, pinning Mizuki, but Mizuki's able to kick out of that. At this point, these two are just going for a mat counter exchange here. You figure that someone's going to try for a victory roll or Okana roll. As Mizuki looked to set up for the butterfly backbreaker, she gets rolled up, and then Emi Sakura reverses that roll up to get the win via pinfall. It didn't take like a big moonsault or one of the effective finishes we see in Sakura here. It just took resourceful counter wrestling to be the one basically in the better position in the end. So again, for what it was worth for this young lady's debut, I think she was still presented rather strong for this main event on AEW Dark Elevation. And I'd like to see more matches from her. I think there could be more work from her going forward.
It really could be. And the one thing I noticed from seeing Joshi wrestling to the Western side, it's like, have you noticed that Joshi wrestlers has more personality than like down here, which is crazy.
Yes.
It's like 9 day, and it's kind of funny because it's like, if you think about the cultures difference between here and Japan, it's like very different. And like when you see them two styles clash, it's just, yeah. And my notes that I got is Emi was literally dog walking Mizuki put the first few parts of the match. It was hilarious. Then like she ate shit by crashing to the steel steps and then that one Mizuki whirly candy. I cannot get over that move at all. Like that move is just the way the air time of her spinning is insane. And I was trying to find logic on how she did that, and I'm still trying to find the logic. And then to the roll ups and all that pin. It was a really good quick match, especially for how much time they got. It's not bad. It's back and forth, surprisingly, with that much time. But I elevated overall.
Oh, there you go. Someone had to in that. And I mean, Emi Sakura, again, she's one of the most well-respected, well-experienced, well-trained individuals across not only the Joshi Pro Wrestling division, but honestly, right now, the currently signed AEW women's division. So for Mizuki to go against Emi Sakura, it felt like the right fit to bring her onto the AEW scene for hopefully not just a one-off. And if the DDT Pro exhibition trios match from the previous week told us anything, I feel there will be more Tokyo Joshi Pro, DDT Pro, Japanese strong style wrestling influence going forward to be more predicated onto AEW, at least the Elevation platform, if nothing else, which I think is a kind of good way to try and educate or draw in the Western audience to this type of style of wrestling that they may not be used to, considering, again, when you look at wrestling here going against, what you might know as traditional or entertaining. It's a different take, but you'd be surprised what it could bring you. Hello, Konosuke Takeshita. And we saw what that led to Konosuke, so...
I can't wait to talk about that, John, because I have a lot of thoughts about that one.
Oh, we'll get there soon enough. But let's go ahead and move on to AEW Dark, as Elevation left us our Monday night, and we move into Tuesday night as Rock Hard Juice Robinson representing... Oh, that's right. Rock Hard. At least I can still do that a little bit. Juice Robinson, thank you for that. he took on. This was interesting. Pat Buck, and I was like,
Why the fuck your
wait.
name is Pat Buck, bro? Like, what the like? I swear,
For a
whoever
moment,
named this motherfucker,
for a
if he,
moment, I swear I thought I was going crazy, but I thought Pat Buck was a producer at AEW, not an actual in-ring competitor, and I was like, this is the same person, right?
dog, this motherfucking name is Pat Buck. When I saw him with that name, I was like, did he use the fantasy name generator just to get that name or something? Because that's a fucked up name.
I mean, it's better than Big Bill.
Anyways,
Yeah,
let's this.
let's not go down that name generator conversation. We'll say that for another day. But yes, Juice Robinson representing Bullet Club Gold, by the way. Let's keep that in mind. With, of course, Switchblade Jay White, who, of course, we'll talk about his in-ring debut after this.
Catalyst. Remember,
yes. I mean, insert one of 15 different nicknames here for one Switchblade Jay White when he faces Commander on Wednesday.
Remember, he single-handed sold out Madison Square Garden.
There you go.
Gotta acknowledge that.
Yeah. Well, again, if we don't acknowledge that, then who are we to even talk about the man himself?
Yeah, man. Eat your heart out, Roman Reigns. We acknowledge this man.
Yeah, or breathe with a switcher, you know. But yeah, so Pat Buck and Juice Robinson. This was totally caught me off guard. First off, Pat Buck. That can't be the same Pat Buck, right? I don't know. Anyway. Early on going lock up and back and forth exchange here with submissions before Juice just basically sends him into the corner and drives his shoulder into the midsection. But then Pat Buck gets a quick roll up. Why did that sound like a Dr. Seuss line? I'll never know. But Robinson was able to kick out, then roll to the outside for a breather. Once again, slowing down momentum. Smart move here. As he draws Pat Buck out there to be with him, he sends him crashing into the ring apron. When you're on the outside ring, which is Robinson, you're more often playing to his game, and you're going to end up on the disadvantage. And that basically was the story here for a good portion of this. Following up with a body slam and bringing him back inside the ring, hitting a delayed vertical suplex, and then firing off the right hands. But Pat Buck was able to counter with a suplex of his own, followed up with a nice Manhattan drop into a power slam. Still not enough, though, as Juice was able to hit a back body drop and a mean pair of chops with a back heel kick. That basically took the man's head off, but that wasn't enough as the Juice is loose was executed, which I believe is like, it's Unprettier or the Pulp Fiction. And basically, Juice Robinson gets the win here with Pat Buck. That kind of got him a little bit off guard, but still, it was kind of a pretty even match for an opener. I was kind of surprised by this.
So on my side, what I saw is that Juice's pants is something I see off the urban clothing store. And then Juice literally told the referee to shut up. That literally had me dying a bit. But another thing is that Pat Buck got a weight belt that says never stop. That when I saw that, I knew he had to lose this match.
Never
and then for real, it literally said never stop. I'm like, no, you gotta stop. But like
at some point.
Yeah, this man name is Pat Buck, bro. I can't get that out of my head. But when he body slammed him on the outside, you forgot to mention right after Juice body slammed him, he literally screamed at him. Like, what the fuck?
Juice is out there, man. He's out there. He's not flamboyant anymore. He's got a screw loose.
He doesn't have one of my favorite themes. It was called Moonchild.
Moonchild.
That was a good song. But
agree.
But speaking of theme song, what the fuck is this song that Juice got? Some harmonica. Like, bruh. So I think ever since he didn't renew his contract for New Japan, he couldn't use the song that he was using called Chosen One. I don't know why it was made by Q Brick, good producer, but he came out with this harmonica song. I'm like, what the fuck? but like, in all seriousness, though, the match was actually pretty decent, especially from a guy named Pat Buck. But I can't get over that, bro. I thought he has to change his name immediately. But it was a decent match, especially a good opener for like Yeah, but one thing I want to comment on is the Dark Arena is actually pretty good. It's a small arena, small venue. Reminds me of TNA back in the day. So yeah, boy, the next match. Who was the Renegades going up against? Because I literally called them. I, I literally called them the Red and Blue Spartans from Halo.
Yeah,
Because
red.
one word's red, one word's blue, and that reminds me of Halo.
Well, unfortunately, it wasn't red versus blue, but they probably would have had a better match one-on-one than they would have together because the Renegades kind of like ran roughshod over them. But
Dog
yes,
walk 'em.
well, proverbially, as
Yeah.
Robin and Charlotte Renegade took on Brittany J and Kia Dream.
The Red
And
and Blue
Charlotte,
Spartans.
well, unfortunately, these Spartans didn't have enough in their needler or enough weaponry on them to overcome the Renegades. I played Halo a little bit. I once held an Xbox 360, but that's a different conversation for another day. Go check out Button Smashers, folks. That being said, Charlotte Renegade kicked things off with a nice fez press to Brittany J, and then just continuing the mount and pound on her, a few shoulders to the midsection, followed up with a nice clothesline. The Robin tags in her sister Charlotte, sends her crashing on top of Brittany, and of course they do that dynamic, that handshake, I guess, of sorts. Charlotte tags in, delivers the kick to the side of Brittany's head, but Brittany, though, hey, at least Brittany actually did something here. Fired back with a nice stunner, tagging Kia Dream, and then they were trying to do something, but Robin tags in, and Dream basically gets a drop kick off, but not before Robin hit a shotgun drop kick. Tagged in Charlotte, and the Renegades set up for their finisher, the Spine Buster, Sling Blade combination. I'm not sure what they call that, actually. I thought it did have a name, but I don't think it does. I'm just going to call it the Rampage, as the Renegades went on a rampage and got the quick win.
Bro, what a. All my notes is absolutely. Bro, my notes has nothing to do with the match at all, bro. It's basically like, why is the Halo Spartans blowing kisses? The Renegades going up against the Halo Spartans, and who wins? Guess who? Guess wrong, actually. But this was just a mugging, and
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the only team I actually see. If they ever have like a women's tag team division, this is the only team I know. In a sense, because not only they are twins, they're about to be the Bella twins in a minute, but yeah, it was just a nothing match. Like it was just them doing them. So I
Yeah.
want to see what's next for them.
Again, it shows nothing else the cohesiveness of the Renegade Twins as a duo. And sometimes I guess you just need to show off one side more than the other, but you need to find a nice counterbalance to it too. And clearly these two here, red and blue, didn't go together to make purple. That's all I gotta say. They got dropped by black. Double over. So good
The
win
House
for
of
the
Black
Renegade
always
Twins.
wins.
Also Ohio represent, also straight out of the Nightmare Factory, former NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, and also former CCW Capital Championship Wrestling inaugural Women's Tag Champs. I'm just waiting for them to mix it up with the Knockouts division that has the only realistic tag team division on the Western Front for women and men, but I digress. Anyway, as we move on from there, well, you were talking about kind of a nothing match. I know this one kind of also constitutes that.
You forgot about one segment, the greatest segment of all time. The Iron Savages talking nothing in the interview.
I mean, do they need to talk? Seriously. Actions speak louder than words when it comes to these two.
But I'm telling you, when I saw the Iron Savages talk, bro, the first thing that came to mind was Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker. Bro,
that's a fair analysis.
Yo, I love their energy, but like, I literally, bro, I thought that was Tucker and Otis during this whole interview. I was like, bro, what the hell are they doing here? Then this random guy, Jameson Ryan, who the fuck named himself Jameson? But he came in the cut. He was like, who are we? Iron Savages. Who are we? Iron Savages. What the fuck out my screen?
That's the hype man, and I put hype in quotations for a reason. He's loud without a mic, and they still give the man a mic.
Bro, no, he doesn't need a mic. He just need to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I completely forgot what they was talking about during the interview.
Something probably about we're gonna go savage on our opponents tonight because they were in tag team action.
I just need them. I just need them to do the stakes and weights promo, and I'm sold in, bro. And I'm sold in.
Stakes and weights.
Oh yeah, Tucky.
Yeah, non-copyright. I'm sure. I'm sure they'll try and figure out some way to recharacterize that.
That's gonna be a tag team. I'm gonna make stakes and weights. I'm gonna make that a tag team soon, but
well, I mean, hey, creative is what creative does. What's original anymore in the wrestling industry? I'm just saying.
Speaking of original, Hunter James against Cole Carter. They should, you know what? They should not. They should have not fight each other because both of them. Well, Cole Carter looked like a TikToker, so that's fun. And Hunter James. Anyways, Hunter James and Cole Carter should just be a team and call themselves TikTokers Unite, and that's it. Because yeah,
but
one of them did a good move, the Canadian rack DDT, so that's fun. But go on to your analysis.
I mean, you pretty much summed it up for me. I mean, literally, it was a couple of moves. One person did a jawbreaker counter, and then Carter hit, like you said, the modified DDT for the win. I mean, Cole Carter's kind of been right now literally lost in the shuffle as far as his identity and his in-ring style. He hasn't had that right opponent to really show what he's been capable of. Slim J has had more in-ring offense and presentation growth since being involved on Dark than Cole Carter has.
Bruh. If you're getting less work than Slim J, go be a TikToker, bruh. You got a cute face. You look adorable. Be a TikToker because if Slim J gonna do more moves, retire. Speaking of Slim J.
Well, I mean, yeah, he wasn't in action, but you see why I do these type of things because guess who was in action? And don't have to worry about James singing the theme this time. It was the Trustbusters as Sonny Kiss and Jeeves K took on the Iron Savages, Bronson and Boulder. And yeah, maybe Cole Carter should become a Trustbuster at this point. Maybe he'll get, like, I don't know, a better presentation. Anyway, this kind of was a bit also lopsided, but at least Sonny Kiss had a match. Bronson and Jeeves, and for those that don't know, Jeeves K, it's the VSK, folks, all right? Lock up in the early going, and then Bronson hits a fallaway slam, but not before K is a super kick that sends Bronson out of the ring, and you take the big man off his feet. You finally slows down momentum, put it in your favor. Tope Suicida, that had some effect. And then he brings K back inside, delivers a frog splash off the top rope, then Sonny Kiss, highly underrated, tags in, delivers a stomp, and then slaps Bronson. I'm not sure how wise that was. This, to me, felt like the Trustbusters just trying to instigate the Iron Savages, and in the end, it bit them in the ass, proverbially. Especially after a DDT by K, who then tags us on the Kiss. Again, they kept Bronson at bay when Bronson did get the tag, but then Bronson was able to literally overcome them with his power, and then hit a freaking pile driver to Jeeves on top of Kiss. Ouch, that should have been enough right there. At least that's my opinion. But then Boulder's brought in. He delivers double clothesline to the Trustbusters. Looks for double choke slam, but the Trustbusters are able to escape, save whatever profits they have left in their pocket. But then he goes to the top rope. I was not expecting this. For goodness, the ring held up. Look for a moonsault, but Kiss moved out of the way, which literally would have made Kiss a kiss on the mat.
Absolute shit.
Yeah, and delivers a scorpion kick. As the Trustbusters look to come back, they try to execute a double suplex, pin Boulder, but Bronson breaks the fall. Again, took two of them to bring one person over. I mean, you do what you have to do. But I can only imagine how much power was exalted on the move versus the pinfall maneuver follow-up. That probably was the other reason why he was able to survive that decision. Anyway, looking for a back handspring, but Boulder blocks it. Then Sonny Kiss gets up on the shoulders. Slim J tries to get involved here, as I said earlier. Cause distraction, but then that loudmouth, James and Ryan, levels him. For a guy that has a friggin' large mouth, he's got a pretty mean right hook. Allows Boulder to deliver a slam powerbomb combination to the Trustbusters, tagging Bronson. Bronson ascends the middle rope as Boulder stacks the Trustbusters like Cornwood. And then Boulder then sets Bronson up on his shoulders and then literally just plants the man. Like literally, he drops like the top half of a tree. Timber planted on top of the Trustbusters. The Iron Savages get the win.
Yeah. So one, I love Sunny Kiss. That is my bruh. I love that motherfucker. I'm mad that they're not on TV, but the Iron Savages shows why they're the Iron Savages. Their hype man, Mojo Rawley, I would call him, and like he just there being. We don't get hype. We stay hype. So, but there's one guy I want to talk about because this man stuck out like a sore thumb. And when I saw him, I wanted to turn off my TV. Slim J.
Yes.
Slim J, right?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a euthanasia coaster?
No.
It's a roller coaster that was made to kill people. And Slim J needs to be on that freaking roller coaster because his fit is terrible. He's literally looking like he looked like glitter. His hat, boy, his hat needs to be obliterated. When I saw him, I literally wrote down in my notes he needed to get smacked with that hat. He needs to get out my face. I've never seen somebody fit so crazy that I don't want him to just be here no more. That fit was insulting to my eyes. But other than that, it was an okay match. Figured Trustbusters nearly, got the win because they gotta at least look credible. But they couldn't take down the Stakes and Weights team, and they got squashed, literally.
I'll say, literally, they had a 230
Yes,
odd plus pound man dropped from them, free falling.
man. Can you imagine him doing like a dive from the Brett? That is absurd of sight I saw. Uh,
Right?
that was
Figure this was only on one
absurd.
man's shoulders and not the top of a ladder. Probably would have literally gone through the ring.
Nah, he should have not. You know what I would love to see by them is if he jump off the Titantron,
Hey,
doing a frog
see?
splash through a table.
Here lies Boulder, forever remembered,
Yeah,
because he decided to dive off a Titantron.
my man dive out the Titantron. My man doing a Shane McMahon spot when he jumped off the joint. Oh
Look,
boy, that would
this
be
is
crazy.
AEW. Don't give them crazier ideas than you know they're capable of.
Hey, AW, bring back this floating barbed wire match.
Let's not.
We gotta have a
And
part 2 to that.
I'm sure Kenny Omega still regrets that to this day.
But this
And I'm pretty
time,
sure.
bring in Onita. He knows what he's doing.
Well, you're not wrong. And I'm pretty sure Kenny Omega feels ashamed for the way it went down and probably would never do it again because of
He
that.
need he need to put his head back down for that. But anyways,
Yeah. Well, moving on from there, somebody that doesn't necessarily seem to show any sort of like emotion. It's just a problem. What you're dealing with, the problema. Marina Shafir took on Dream Girl Ellie, and Marina Shafir, of course, with her
who the fuck named himself Dream Girl early?
That's always been her name. At one point, she
Dog.
dressed up like a sand, but I don't know why she
Oh,
stopped that. Now
what?
she's more so like a screaming. Oh yeah, when she first came in on the AEW scene, that's how I remember her. She used to tag alongside like Genocide, and she really dressed up like in sand armor, like Vegeta, except it was purple and gold. But that's a whole different story. Anyway,
What the fuck do we find these people, bro?
look,
First Pat
you watch a
Buck.
person you watch a person change over time. Dream Girl Ellie is not the same competitor I used to watch, but it
Oh.
still was not very effective here against the judo background of Marina Shafir, MMA background too. And they go in a hip toss and then whips her around into the corner, but then Ellie follows up with a shoulder to her midsection, drop toe hold, looks for a lariat, but Shafir was able to dodge it and lock in a submission call. I was like, well, it's over. But Ellie was able to fight out it for a moment. And then Shafir delivered a series of kicks to her head, rocked her, and then trapped her with the side slam into, let's see, hook the shoulder, hook the leg, trap the arm. What part of the body of Dream Girl Ellie was not folded into more ways than your standard pretzel?
Everything.
Either way, the submission's called greedy. Maria Shafir was greedy and got the win.
Okay. Do you think Maria Shafir improved in the ring?
It's one of those things where I don't think she's improved, but she's changed. And the way she's changed is the fact that she focuses now on her MMA and judo background. It does make her matches, in my opinion, single-wise, feel more like sparring sessions, but it does more so fit to her comfort zone that I feel like she does enough with what she actually can do and what she needs to do. I don't think she's gotten better. I think she's gotten more comfortable.
Yeah, because like I remember when she first debuted, it was Raw. Not the show Raw, but like she was pretty raw. Like she was pretty green in the ring, and
She
then
was figuring
seeing
herself
her,
out.
yeah, then seeing her at a blood sport. Some people say, "How the fuck you have a bad blood sport match and you did MMA?" So that kind of stuck with me a bit. And then seeing her now, it's like I feel like she should be more. This is probably just me, but she should be more technical than a pro wrestler
I agree.
because it's like like I feel like she could be like a Shayna Baszler or, or a Zack Sabre Jr. She could be like that because of her trying to be a pro wrestler. I don't think that's gonna help her because in my honest opinion, certain wrestlers should not be a pro wrestler. They should be a different style, like a technical, a mat wizard, or just plain out brawler. Being a pro wrestler, you gotta know how to do pro wrestling things. If you know how to, but if you know how to be a wrestler, you're gonna be a wrestler. There's two different styles. There's wrestling and pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is in between. But she should be more of a technical or a wrestler than anything because her trying to be a sports entertainer is not gonna fucking help her.
No. At this point, like I said, the fact that she's relying more so now on her judo background, I feel it has made her more comfortable with how she proceeds to present herself in the ring. And if she focuses
Yeah,
more on that, then it could maybe develop into something. And for the longest time, I was hoping that
yeah.
maybe her and Serena Deeb could be a tag team. The Professor and the Problem. It feels like an act that would ride itself. And I haven't seen Serena Deeb since that match with
Where
Mercedes
the fuck
Martinez
has
for
she been?
I don't know if she's injured or what, honestly. I have no
Bro, I
idea,
miss
but
her, bro.
yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's the legitimate force of the women's division right there. The Professor for
Yeah,
a reason, respect. But yeah, it's one of those things where right now Marina Shafir she just kind of just does her own thing, and according to John Moxley on the sessions, that's something that the wrestling industry kind of misses from a lot of people. Everybody does something else. That someone does this, someone does this, someone does that, but there's nobody like Shafir, and maybe
yeah,
that's just kind of just a one out case, but to be fair, he's kind of got a point. So the fact that
yeah,
Shafir is her own entity of judo MMA
yeah,
type background, trying to mesh in wrestling, I guess that goes to her strength with the fact that she still is presented on AEW. So again,
yeah.
you do what you have to do to stay relevant, but you also do what you have to do to feel comfortable in what you do as well.
Yeah, like the thing is that I also seen the sessions and Moxie does her a point, and I'm happy that Mox is trying to coach her because I feel like she's a little lost and she needs
Hmm.
to find her footing and try to be more comfortable because being a wrestler is not that easy. Plus, you have eyes on you and you try so hard not to fuck up because you're trying to be like this and this and this. The
Exactly.
example of Dante Martin. That's why his dumb ass is in the fucking hospital. But
Well, I mean,
trying to be
yeah.
a flippy shit. But like once she find herself, I think she'll be fine. And one of my notes says that she was a little green and she's kind of growing a bit, but it's slowly but surely. And another thing on my notes is where the fuck they be getting these wrestlers because we got people Dream Girl. We got people with some wild ass names in this card, bro.
I don't know what
Case in
goes
point,
through.
Pat Buck.
I
I
mean, I don't know what goes through a wrestler's mind when it comes to developing their identity when it starts with something as hard, let's not say as simple, as hard as a name, but hey, you do what you
Jameson.
have to do,
What
I
the
guess,
fuck
to
is a
not be
Jameson?
the 202nd, I don't know, insert
Hundred?
generic name here.
The Destroyer, anyways.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about names. How about these two names coming together as a tag team, seeing how
Alright.
opportunity might take them a different way? The former X Division champion Rohit Raju tagged alongside Jora Joe, who was previously part, of course, the Matt Hardy family office, took on the duo of Ariel Levy and Jarrett Diaz. And this is the second time now, I believe, we've seen Jora Joe and Rohit Raju as a tag team. In the early going, we saw George Joe deliver a kick to Ariel, followed with a suplex, and then Jarrett Diaz. I need to say Diaz, not so that would be people know I'm talking about particular Jarrett, not Jeff Jarrett. Still can't stand the dude. Jarrett Diaz tags in, sends Diaz crashing into the corner, and then Rohit Raju, quick taz by Rohit and Jora. Raju delivers a leaping DDT, but Diaz was able to catch with an elbow, tags in Levy. Levy was able to deliver a drop kick and a stomp, delivers a running knee. Raju follows up, though, with a twisting net breaker and fisherman suplex, goes for the pin, but Diaz breaks it up, allowing Jora, though, to basically take him out with a super kick, or fresh kick, however you want to put it. As Raju delivers a jumping knee to Levy before Jora Joe hits that big boot, a simple and effective finisher for Jora Joe and Rohit Raju to get a good win.
Having a big boot as a finisher is crazy, though.
Right?
Like, the only way I could see a big boot being a finisher is the Yakuza kick, because it's technically a big boot. But I only wrote one thing in my notes, jobbed, and that's basically it, because I literally blacked out this whole match.
Which I don't blame you, because again, it's like, the Renegade fan. It's one of those fans that's like, okay, you're looking at one side. How well do they, work together as a tag team? Now, truth be told, Renegade Twins, duh, they're literally sisters. You don't know anybody better than your sister, and they have tag.
Wait. Have they did the twin magic before?
I'm sorry, what?
Have they did the twin magic? The Renegade Twins? Because I feel like I've seen them did it once or something.
Yes, they have, at least once.
I can't wait for that to be played in a lot. You can look, but you can't touch.
Well, hopefully it doesn't go that far. Just saying.
Imagine.
I mean, weirder things have happened. John Lennon imagined something. It didn't happen yet, but weirder things have happened. Anyway, that's a whole different vibe, though, as far as music, though. But speaking of a different vibe, though, I was glad to finally see Angelico get his original vibe back versus SAP, which sounds like something out of your opening Saturday morning cartoon waiting to happen. As Angelico took on Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel, one-on-one in our Elevation main event. And based on the fact that what two names were involved here, just one-on-one, was like, okay, now we're going to have a really good match. And it was. Angelico is known as a hybrid for a reason. He is so damn dynamic. In the early going, Christopher Daniels and Angelico went back and forth with submission holds. Go figure. Before Daniels delivered a short tackle that finally took him off his feet, followed by an arm drag. Nice leg lariat into a chop, but then Angelico was able to get him with a drop toe hold and send Daniels face first to the middle turnbuckle. Continuing the offense in the corner, he then locked him in a calf submission, but Daniels was able to make it to the bottom rope to break the hold. I was just waiting for him to try and hook in that Navarro death roll or the Angelico, Angelico Special 2. There's too many different submission moves that Angelico does that I don't know all the names of. Because he doesn't wrestle enough as a single competitor.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, exactly. As Angelico falls up with a back suplex for Daniels, sits Angelico on the top turnbuckle, delivers an uppercut, follow up with a modified iconoclasm off the top rope. Good innovation there. And then a nice modified Uranagi, still not enough. As Angelico fights back, series of kicks and right hands, takes the Fallen Angel down for a moment. But then Christopher Daniels was able to finally hook him up and hit the Angel's wings, not the BNE. For the 1, 2, 3, Christopher Daniels got the win over Angelico in the end.
Let me say this, though. If you've seen Angelico in Lucha Underground,
yes, that's why I first saw him.
You should already know how he's going to be. And if you've seen Christopher Daniels' career throughout TNA and everything, it's actually a perfect style, because both men we've known, and they ain't going to have a bad match, technically.
No.
So it wasn't really like a big match, but it was actually pretty good. And it's always good to hear Daniels TNA theme plays. I
Right.
walked
Still
out
crazy
every
to hear
time.
that in 2023.
It's crazy how Jeff Jarrett, Daniels, and the Hardy Boys has their themes.
Music's
Because
weird.
no, the licensing's weird.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, because music's defined by licensing, and the way the licensing works really kind of makes you define where it can be used, where it can be heard, without paying some sort of copyright claim.
Yeah. But
and anyway, but yeah, like I said, I mean, the first time I saw Angelico was literally Lucha Underground. Christian Daniels, multiple-time X Division champion, TNA champion, ring general of sorts. Of course, remember Bad Influence. We know SCU. We know his running history with the Elite. So, I mean, for what Dark does nowadays in this 5 to 6 match showcase, you got your semi-main, your main more times. This one just felt like we just had a main event this week. This was a nice way to close the show, and it needed to do what it needed to do. And with two people that are very technically sound, I expected more of a technical chess game in play. And the fact that Danielson had to go for the BME, he got him with the Angel's Wings, goes to show how resourceful and effective Christopher Daniels can be.
Yeah. But it's still crazy to see him even do the BME, though. This man is like old, but hey, he didn't miss a step yet.
I mean, those apple teenies, I guess, really must help out with that. I wonder if he
For
still
real.
even drinks those. Ugh. Anyway, I wouldn't know. I've never had a martini in my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we get to the apex of the week, and that, of course, was Pittsburgh's AEW Dynamite, which did not kick off with a match, but kicked off with perspective of the pillars. As Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara, they basically, what's the word I'm looking for here? Exchange displeasantries, but also respect, at least in certain ways than others. Talk about a literal triangle effect. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, of course, who took the mic, talked about how Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, there might be a bit more similarity with those two. And then Darby Allin basically talked about how he and Sammy, yeah, we are kind of a lot alike. And then Sammy talked about how Darby he has the most respect for because Darby was the one that showed him the way that I can literally achieve anything I put my mind to in this company. I can even do it better than you. And he did it 3 times over as a 3-time TNT champion. Darby, of course, who known Sammy the longest, believes Chris Jericho is holding him back. Jack Perry is looking at Darby Allin and basically saying that the only reason you're not here is because you couldn't make it a skateboarder. Damn. And then Darby Allin saying that Jack Perry, you are the golden child that was chosen. You and MJF were chosen by AEW because you were the ones that were involved. A lot of back and forth dynamics where it was almost like two men have respect for each other and then absolute dismay for the other. And then here comes MJF to stir it all up, who is at the center of all this, being the older of the Triple B. And apparently he and TK have come up with a plan to determine a single number one contender to challenge for him at the pay-per-view. And it was, of all things, in AEW, go figure, a tournament, if you can call it that, where one person got a bye just because of the luck of the draw out of a hat, Darby Allin. And it was made official that night, and this is a very unusual, maybe first in AEW, where the main event was not announced before the show start, but it was announced literally during the opening segment of, as MJF said, tonight for the first time ever, it will be Sammy Guevara versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and the winner will take on Darby Allin, and the winner of that match challenges me for the Triple B in the main event of Double or Nothing. So an interesting opening segment as we look at, of course, the 4 pillars of AEW that will define the main event, I gotta imagine, for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, the show that started off for this brand to begin with before Dynamite even exists.
Yo, okay, so I'm gonna be real with you.
Go for it.
Why the fuck we got a tournament, bro? What can't be like a triple threat or something?
I don't know.
Why a tournament, bro? This is the weirdest tournament I've ever seen.
You have 3 people in a tournament. That's 3 people. 3 people is a tournament. What?
Like, what the fuck? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. Like, but I guess okay? Question mark? Explanation mark? But
dot,
coma. comma or something. But like the
What do you
thing
mean, you know?
is that but I knew they was gonna do something like well, they probably gonna change it later on, but I had a feeling that MJF's title defense on each pay per view is probably going to be each member of the four pillars. The first one is going to be one guy. The next pay per view, All Out or All In, there's going to be another guy.
Right.
Then the next one is going to be the other guy. I had a feeling they might do something like that, but the way they do it now, I really don't get it. But I just hope that it makes sense all in the end. But I really feel like they should have did a triple threat. Whoever wins the match going up against MJF, and then how they're going to put up to the next title defense. Probably a one-on-one match face MJF. The next title defense. Hey, I want to go up against you. No.
You're the only one
Yes.
left, and he forces it. He instigates it.
Yes. Like, but it's just the tournament threw me off because I'm like, how are you gonna do a 3-man tournament? Just do a triple. Tony, what is Tony? I know you like tournaments, but fuck no.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna do like whoever has the most wins, they get the chance at the match or something that makes sense, then yeah. But now I'm just like, I don't. Yeah, it's frustrating with this guy.
I gotta imagine plans could change though, because again, we are 1 month out. Because yeah, I agree with you. I mean, at this point, if they weren't gonna do the rankings, which let's be honest, the ranking system's kind of been irrelevant since they stopped doing the whole power rankings special on YouTube because of all the controversy that was behind it and the lack of direction.
There
The
was
only thing that
controversy behind it.
Well, I mean, you had the win-loss record. This person was ranked number 5, yet they were the next challenger. The challenge
Oh
for the title. It was a
yeah,
whole spiel a long time ago. They stopped that, thankfully. But the thing, yeah, I mean, you got 3 people. That's not a tournament. You got 3 people, all equally worthy to challenge, all each with their own reason and story and direction to challenge, all each with a loss to the person to challenge. Yeah, it just felt like Triple Threat made the most sense because the thing I just didn't see happening in the end, no matter what, I just didn't see a fatal 4-way because I didn't think they're going to put all the cooks into the fire at once, even if it was at the show that started all for all 4 men. At the end of the day, I think about Double or Nothing 2019, the show that started all for all Elite Wrestling, and there were 2 people particularly involved as far as these pillar goals in regards to this title. And that was one Maxwell Jacob Freeman and one Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Well, that basically got a whole tailspin now with this whole idea of a tournament to crown a single number 1 contender. It just feels weird booking. It almost feels like a filler booking angle for something else that can happen. I don't think this main event is still fully clearly booked the right way yet. I feel something could change even after this tournament because you consider we're talking about this now on Tuesday, April 25th, 9:60 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and tomorrow night literally yields the conclusion of this tournament. You still got a month out to literally drive home. This is your main event for your Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And I just feel like something else has to get before then. That's just my thing. So
I don't know what they're doing now because with how the main event like ended, we're gonna
we're
talk
gonna
about
get
that
there
later.
soon.
But
Yeah.
it's just this is getting. I like the promo. The promo was actually pretty good. Kind of
Right.
did shock me that man said that out of everybody here, I like Sammy Guevara the most. Huh? Like I was like, wow, wait, what? But the way he explained it, I kind of get it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it kind of caught me off guard because I thought he might like Jungle Boy more. No, Sammy. Why? But it is what it is, dog.
Yeah,
Boy, oh
respect is
boy.
brave a different way. Respect is brave a
Then,
different way.
then the best man came around, MJF, the one man I share a birthday with.
Nice.
So no
There you go.
wonder No wonder I am who I am. But yeah,
Well, and you know it, so there you go. Speaking of talking about birthdays and shared birthdays, shout out to the Killer and Pillar. Hope they had a wonderful birthday as we go to women's tag team action as Jamie Hayter and welcome back home to one Dr. Britt Baker,
DMD,
DMD, of
get it
course,
right.
emanating from the University of Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. We're in Pittsburgh, and the terrible towels were out all over the place, including by her
Ew,
parents.
it's
They took on tag team action, but you might as well say subtle handicap. The Outcasts, Ruby Soho and Tony Storm with Saraya in the corner. And the brawling kicked off immediately on the entranceway, Screw starting things in the ring. I like the
love to
fact,
see
first
it.
off, this wasn't pigeonholed in the typical women's booking spot of Dynamite that I've seen more so over than I can count. It's nice to see that incoherency of booking to give the women more chance to shine in other parts and when the crowd's definitely hotter. And truth be told, Pittsburgh, they were hot all night during most of the show, but they were definitely into this women's tag match here. Can't blame them. This was a very good competitive back and forth women's tag team affair. Britt and Ruby, they were slugging it out while Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter, they renewed hostilities from AEW Full Gear in the ring. After Hayter hit a double short tackle low on Soho and Storm, Hayter was able to, of course, demonstrate her power, the power of Hayter, respect. Double suplex, then Saraya grabs Hayter's ankle, try to play some interference. Tony Storm looks for the DDT on the outside, but Hayter stops that dead in its tracks as we get back, of course, into the ring. Then Tony Storm blasts her with a forearm, followed up by that mean hip attack, sweet cheeks music, as some people like to call it. I can't see why. As Baker comes in, though, and tries for the Panama Sunrise, it's countered, though. Ruby Soho comes back in, though, with a back heel trip up on Baker to the floor. And, of course, they're still instigating. Of course, her parents at ringside, her mother and her father there, because Baker DMD back home. As Baker blasted Storm with a sling blade, and it was nice to see, actually, Britt Baker get physically involved in AEW in general, because I can't remember the last time she got involved in a match since, I believe, Full Gear, with the whole thing about her back and everything, as All Access has been showing that, too. I do wonder, though, about the state of Dynamite Baker's back for the long haul. Anyway, as this match kept moving forward, Baker was basically running roughshod over the Outcast. Blasted her with a sling blade, like I said, followed by a net breaker on Ruby Soho. Then goes for the German suplex attempt. Tony Storm gets countered. Fires back, though, with an air raid crash. Some good near falls here. Then Baker and Hayter, they literally trapped Tony Storm with some ripcord lariats, front and back assault, like Ozzy Open did to Bishamon. And then Saraya, though, comes into play, though, with a cheap shot. Straight to the face with Jamie Hayter's belt. And you thought they were going to steal it, but somehow, and this surprised me, somehow Dieberger DMD kicked out on her own power. No one broke it up. She just survived the cheap shot. And then finally hits the Panama Sunrise, despite the fact we're not in Florida, for another nice near fall, then falls with a curb stomp. Ruby Soho would not go down. So I guess she had to go for a checkup and was forced to tap out as a lockdown was applied. And Dynamite DMD got the win once again in her hometown. Very game women's tag match here, but not before damage was done by Saraya, as I was talking about the outside, driving her shoulder that she uses for the Hayter raid constantly into the steel ring steps, as Hayter was escorted with medical personnel away from ringside, and Britt followed up. There was no celebration here post-match. Britt concerned for her friend, confidant, whatever you want to call it. So at the end of the day, the Outcast may have not gotten the win, but have they taken one step closer towards their goal of one of them becoming the next AEW Women's World Champion, particularly Saraya. Either way, this was really good stuff from all five.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest with you that I want to know where is this going to lead to? Like, who's going to fight for the title? That's like my biggest question because they are like, I don't know. Like, let's think about who went for the title. Ruby Soho did once. Tony Storm, she was so. Is it going to be Saraya going for the title, or they're going to do something like, I don't know. Like, that's one thing that is kind of like confusing me. Like, I get this is a feud of DMD take uh, um Jamie Hayter and friend going up against Soho and friends. Like, it's a two on three mess. But what are they gonna do? Are they gonna do like a 6-woman tag at Double or Nothing, or they're gonna do it before Double or Nothing, and and whoever's and whoever is to like go for the title will just step up or something. Because my main worry is the title. Who is going for the belt? Is this not for the belt, or this is just a group effort or something like that? I'm just confused.
I feel like it's a fair analysis because right now it is literally warfare. It's a guerrilla warfare right now. It's a battleground women's division. You talk about the Outcasts taking on the AEW Originals, not just the Kill and the Pillow. Let's not forget they've been having fought with the likes of Little Nightingale, Sky Blue, and one so particular Riho. Riho was the last one to challenge Jamie Hayter for the title, mutual respect. Since Jamie Hayter has been champion, she has put down all comers with some incredible bouts, including against Lights of Emi Sakura. You look at the current state of the AEW Women's Division, with most of them right now involved in this sub-feud, the next logical choice probably would be Saraya, but I would wonder if they would save that for their big UK Invasion show, AEW All In, which tickets now have gone on sale for. So it's one of those things where right now at Double or Nothing, I can literally see them bringing in somebody just because Jamie Hayter wants to defend the title, wants to be a fine champion. They could bring in somebody like Mio Yamashita to face her at this point. I just don't see Jamie Hayter not defending the title, but I don't see it against the Outcasts at this point because it still feels like this brewing feud is far from over. If nothing else, based on what we're going to talk about here in a little bit, it might have even taken a different direction with even more parties involved. The one thing I hope doesn't happen, though, is you just subterfuge the AEW Women's World Championship and degrade it down to a women's tag team match at Double or Nothing. That's the one thing they can't do.
That would make the title look bad. Like, bruh. Not
I
like,
guess only time will tell at this point. It's
yeah.
Again, we still have a month out, and there are no matches official yet for Double or Nothing. As of right
Besides
now,
the title match, besides the world title match,
technically speaking, we don't even know officially what that match is going to be yet because the tournament that they're doing has to conclude. And based on what's already happened so far that we'll talk about at the end of the show, Tony Khan's already not happy with the way this tournament has gone about too. Again, plans can change. And we literally have less than 24 hours till we see what those plans are going to be. As we go backstage with Renee Paquette interviewing Wardlow, who decided tonight, I'm going to bring out a horseman to have my back in my, let's just call it wrestling hometown. Here comes the enforcer, Arn Anderson. He talked about basically all these shenanigans that QTV has pulled off, and Arn's like, we're going to stop that dead in its tracks. And as we keep hearing from individuals, here comes the Elite as Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson talked about how, well, particularly Kenny Omega, these have been some of the toughest weeks of my life, particularly because my family has been assaulted. Don Callis, they showed that wound again. That dude got,
fuck Don Callis.
There you go. And he talked about Blackpool Combat Club being four of the most respected professional wrestlers on the planet until the last few weeks. I'm having trouble sleeping at night, thinking about that screwdriver in the turnbuckle that should have been in your head, John Moxley. So we want to see you guys in the ring. Let's sell this. And Bryan Danielson saying, who's going to pay to see a bunch of amateurs just talk? Yeah, well,
me?
Apparently, you're not going to see them talk. You're going to see them get their ass kicked from behind. Blackpool Combat Club with a blind assault. And the brawl was throughout the area after John Moxley at one point hit Kenny Omega with the Death Rider. Bryan Danielson finally comes down to ringside and says, exactly what I thought, bunch of amateurs. I mean, how stupid can you be? Except you, Kenny Omega, I thought you were better than this. But maybe I was wrong. And maybe, just like how I fixed one problem, there's still more problems to fix in this house. Out comes the screwdriver, and before he could fix another amateur out of the picture, you said Don Callis, here he comes with a chair in hand, discretion, the better part of valor, or so we thought. The Invisible Hand with a plan, apparently. Konosuke, who is no stranger to Bryan Danielson, in fact, has mutual respect for him. But it was Konosuke that was the difference maker that allowed Kenny Omega to see for another day. And it seems as of right now, he is part of the Elite, and Kenny Omega right now is more confused than anybody. Go figure.
Okay, so I have some things to actually talk about this thing because this joint, I see what I see what they're about to do because not only I saw this, I also saw Being the Elite,
As
and
you
they
should.
talked about it. So I know what they're trying to do here. They're going to do something with Kenosuke and Kenny because if you're like us and you watch this shit for like beyond America and you know the history with Kenny and Japanese in general, you know they're setting something up for one person, the Golden Star himself, Kota Ibushi. Like
Exactly.
you know what they're trying to do here, because the moment Takeshita come out, Kenny was like, "I thought you talking about another Japanese person. What are you talking about?" And that was cake. But I'm not mad that they're doing this because it makes things a lot more spicier for what's to come in the future, especially since that awkward, exchange with Kenny and Takeshita during being the elite. So yeah, and I know James was really happy to see his favorite group, the Elite, and his favorite tag team, the Young Bucks,
Yeah.
on the screen. I know he's happy to see, right, James?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, he would never say that on air. He would
Come on,
contain
James. You got
himself. Anyway,
but like, yeah. So I'm excited for what they're doing, and I hope this leads to what we thinking of. What's going to happen. Somebody said it might lead to Kenny turning on the Young Bucks because he wanted a different Japanese person.
that's a bold
if,
take.
if you think about, bro, just think about that injury. Like when you when you think about that, it just be kind of hilarious.
Yeah, but also now this also makes things now 4-on-4 if you want to also think about that too. The numbers are even, so you honestly also might be setting your way up to blood and guts with how violent this feud's getting. And maybe Konosuke Takeshita will once again go one-on-one with Bryan Danielson. That was a classic at the LA
Yeah.
Forum. So there's a lot of different dynamics this could go. But also I do think about whose agenda is really at play here. Is it the Elite or Don Callis? Don Callis at one point did put out the picture. We got our focus back. It was only him and Kenny Omega. When the Young Bucks got assaulted, Don Callis was the one that said, now we can focus. And let's not forget that Kenny Omega is still our IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. And his next challenger will be defined at Forbidden Door. So
Okay.
again, there's a lot of moving parts here. Not to mention, as we recently found out, Kenny Omega will get his one-on-one contractually obligated rematch against El Hijo del Vikingo for the Triple Omega Championship in Mexico. So again, there's a lot of different moving parts there that surround particularly one Kenny by God Omega. So we'll have to wait and see.
If this leads to a blood and guts, I'm gonna be like,
It's about that time of the year, dude. I'm just saying.
if they do that, my day's gonna be hard as fuck because the first blood and guts that was great, and if they're doing it for this joint, well, wait, there've been two blood and guts, right?
Correct.
If I remember, blood and guts 3 will be pretty crazy because we got the Blackpool Combat Club, also known as the Bullies himself, the
Pretty much.
BBC, I would call them, and they going up against the Elite. If you remember, the Elite was supposed to be in the first one. So I guess this might be this is going to be interesting, especially if they end up getting, well, I don't know how Takeshita, I don't know how he's gonna do in that type of scenario. But I
Exactly.
know, but I know if it was Kota Ibushi, I'm gonna have a heart attack because that man is a psycho. He's crazy.
Yes. Yes. He will
So
literally kill himself. Yes.
have
You're
you
not
seen
wrong.
him? But have you seen his old stuff? What he been doing back when he
Unfortunately, I
back,
have, and I
back when
thought
he
New
was in
Japan against
DDT?
Taiji was nuts.
Nah, you guys see him in DDT, bro. He he was a psychopath. The man
And he
crazy.
still is. He just
Yeah.
hasn't unleashed it yet.
Mhm.
Again.
Murder
Ibushi.
Ibushi versus John Moxley. Bruh. Yeah.
You wish blood was the only thing you had to worry about in that match.
I mean, John
Anyway.
Moxley nearly died by Kenny Hung by with Jesus. Okay, John Moxley nearly died at the last pay per view by Hangman Page getting hanged by the barbed wire. So nothing's new.
I mean, John Moxley. I mean, he's not like he's changed, and we'll talk more about that in Rampage. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, we're speaking of big mean fights. Let's go ahead and talk about the TNT Championship match. It's Powerhouse Hobbs with QT Marshall defended the gold against Wardlow with Arn Anderson in the corner. This was your
Do we have to talk about this match? Do we have to talk about this match? Because
I mean, not really. I mean, what you can sum up in one
so-
sentence if you really want: big men doing big, mean, meaty men things, and then
It's
Arn
not
got his
even
Glock out.
that. It's not even that. It's just how this match ended, bro. And who won
Yeah.
that made me mad.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's more so the result is the talking point versus the match itself. I mean,
The match
Wardlow
wasn't
and
bad.
Powerhouse
It was
Hobbs
just like the
can have
match
a great
wasn't
match
bad.
together. And
Yeah.
then QT hits a diamond cutter. Wardlow's able to kick out. Arn Anderson, he drops QT after QT gets brought back in the ring by Penta, who comes down the ramp and literally gets kicked. And next thing you know, Wardlow powerbombs Hobbs 3 times, pins him for the 3. And Wardlow, yes, folks, it happened again. Wardlow is a 3-time TNT champion at Powerhouse Hobbs' expense.
Next match, let's move on to this.
The TNT title, still a mess. There you go.
Dude, the Book of Hobbs never said anything about this moment. The Book of Hobbs says that he's gonna win the belt, and that's it. Just why Wardlow have to? What did? Bruh, my hair hurts. Why is Wardlow still fighting for this belt? Why can't he go for something else? What is something with this? What you got? This is like how they do with what's his face? Charlotte winning her pinning the belt like every single time she get a chance to. They're doing this with Warlow. I was happy when Samoa Joe won the belt. Right? I was like, yo, that is my boy right there. Then Hobbs win. I was happy because Hobbs was underrated. I liked Hobbs.
Right.
But the perfect solution for the TNT title, Wardlow. I don't give a damn about this dude no more. Man. Like, yes, he's good, but I'm pushing this man. Let him go for the world title at least. Like, I really put in mind if he gone for the world title, him against MJF, the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he stuck down with the mid card? Why is he stuck down with the TNT title? The belt has already the belt prestige has already decreased a few notches for like a good amount of time now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is just a mess with this belt, dog. They could have had anybody, right? They could have had anybody else. With John Moxley, I get it because John Moxley, he is hands down reliable. He's reliable. Wardlow, he's not that reliable like how John Moxley is because John Moxley had to cut his vacation to help this promotion. With Wardlow, they don't know who to put the title on. They have a few people that was good. Samoa Joe, Hobbs, and other people. Darby Allin, I don't care. But they're not just next match before I have aneurysm.
Well, stay tuned for Wardlow vs. Luchasaurus with Christian Cage in the corner and Arn Anderson probably having a promo off because it sounds like Luchasaurus will be the next challenger.
Watch Luchasaurus wins and then Wardlow recaptures the belt, bro.
The never-ending cycle continues with Wardlow being the TNT champion.
It's going to be like Ric Flair's record by now with this belt.
I mean, he does have a horseman in his corner.
No,
oh, jeez.
no.
I'm just saying, man. You're just putting it out there. I mean, let's just connect the dots. Arn Anderson is the enforcer.
We're going to see Wardlow saying "woo."
I don't know about that.
Every time
let's
he
go
wins,
ahead.
woo.
I mean, Ric Flair drip. Talk about Ric Flair drip. Talk about MJF's drip. As MJF comes in and interrupts Sammy Guevara and Nate Paquette backstage, offers him a blank check to write down your price. All you gotta do will be in the main event. Just lay down. Now, I can only imagine what was on that check, and I bet you it would not cash or it bounced. But that being said, the devil struck a deal with, I would say, a joker. And we'll see if the two can coexist. Seems like a fair price to me. Apparently, Renee saw the check. I don't think it was in Canadian, so I don't know.
You know, it'd be really funny, though.
So
we'll
see what happens.
Okay, so say that he did pay. Say that Tim Jeff did pay Sammy Kavar, right?
Right.
But the amount he wants, imagine that was in pesos. How low it will be in American dollars, bro. He paid $1 million in either yen or pesos or Canadian dollars.
This Canadian dollar actually has more value than the American dollar, so Canadian actually would probably make it more profitable.
Oh, well, scrap that. Pay him in the Sim dollars. From the Sims 4. That gonna be great. Sammy like, this ain't what I wanted.
Oh, again, you struck a deal with the devil. To read the fine print.
But
oh, good grief. So MJF already has a plan to basically put a fix in for this so-called tournament, and we'll see how that plays out in our main event. As we move on from there, we were talking about him earlier. Now we bring ourselves to the debut of one Switchblade Jay White in AEW with Juice Robinson in his corner, taking on Commander. And again, Commander, your hang time. Yeah, seriously, somebody, I need to see the hang time of him versus Ray Phoenix versus Dante Martin versus...
Commander is black, bro. It's official. This man is black. This man has insane hops, dog.
Fair enough.
The fact that they have that much... I'd need a fatal four-way between Commander, Phoenix, Kingo, and Dante Martin. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
I don't know necessarily if the ring could handle that much rubber. I'm just saying.
It's not even the ring cannot. No, the ring gonna be fine. It's just the ropes.
That's the thing.
The canvas itself is fine. The ropes and the people watching, you gotta watch out for.
Especially the front row, you get a freaking souvenir. Jesus.
I broke my shoulder pop out, but this match was awesome.
I mean, again, what would you expect when you consider the defensiveness of Switchblade Jay White and the way he goes about this match, apparently being scored by one Sean Spears, which I find kind of interesting. And then you have Commander. So Commander starts off staggering Jay White with a back heel kick, then proceeds to try and walks the ropes, takes down White with a Hurricane Rana. But he wasn't done there as he looked for the moonsault off the top turnbuckle, but Jay White was able to counter it, catching Commander on the apron. Again, the most dangerous part of the ring. These two, their reckless abandonment. And Jay White finally catches Commander, slows him down with a running clothesline, and then literally when Commander was about to go for something crazy, dug his finger as deep as he could into Commander's eyes, but Commander was able to counter with a kick as Jay White crashes to the arena floor. Then Commander, once again, walking the ropes, wait for it, oh, he got it this time, and took to the skies, flying and landing on Switchblade Jay White. What the hell? And as if that wasn't enough, then he falls up again, walking the ropes like nothing. Shooting star press, near fall. And I think it got a 6 from Sean Spears. I'm pretty sure those scores were inaccurate. Following up with that, springboard Phoenix splash. The hell of a corner. Who needs a corner, right? But a friggin' 2 count. But Switchblade Jay White finally cut his commander with the cutthroat suplex and then spikes him with the Blade Runner at the end of this Commander aerial backtick affair. And Switchblade Jay White hits the Blade Runner out of nowhere. That's always the killing blow. Nice setup, of course, with that cutthroat suplex. Jay White does get the win, but that wasn't the story there. As Sean Spears, apparently the scores were not appreciated by Juice Robinson. 2-for-1 beatdown until one absolute Ricka Starks came down for the save. And officially following this match, Commander became All Elite. Commander is insane. Congratulations. Sean Spears and Ricky Starks. Why do I sense one of these two is going to turn on the other? Because Sean Spears just back out of nowhere? Or is this just a filler tag team dynamic right now as we wonder how the hell Bullet Club Gold takes shape? But right now, Switchblade Jay White leads his air in AEW unblemished. This was awesome.
I hope Sean. Okay, this is just me fantasy putting, right? So
go for it.
So they have the tag match, right? And King Switch wins, but Sean Spears joins Bullet Club Gold, and that will be the chairman with the perfect 10, the catalyst of pro wrestling, and Rack Hard. But I'm gonna say this. Good match. I love seeing Jay White, and I love seeing how Jay White wrestles, especially because his style is more defense than anything.
Yep.
And I hope this be a good feud and lasted like a good while, not a long feud, because I know Jay White has something better up his sleeve because he does have some unfinished. Well, he does have some business he has to deal with. Two, actually. But one of them, that one's last. The first one, because Forbidden Door is coming, right?
Correct.
And that's AEW and New Japan. I think Jay White needs to take care of one named David Finlay. Because technically, even though he can't wrestle for New Japan nor in Japan, he technically could wrestle in AEW against New Japan. So it could be a match between David Finlay and Jay White. After that, he has one more person to deal with, Kenny Omega, the Elite.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget Switchblade Jay White that took the IWGP United States Championship away from Kenny Omega when Kenny Omega was in Bullet Club at the time.
Yeah. So this would be an interesting few weeks up to Forbidden Door, and maybe because I know Jay White's going to do it. I'm happy. Well, there was a joke between me and my friends that this was during Jay White might go to WWE, right? They was joking like Jay White name is going to change to Jimmy Blank or something like that because they love changing names.
Right.
But I'm gonna say this: if Jay White ever did go to WWE, it'll be weird. But there'll be two matches I'll be looking forward to: him against Cody, to him against AJ Styles. But now that he's in AEW, a few people I kind of want him to wrestle because I feel like AEW fits him a lot better than the Fed. So he gave a good. So he did give a good impression against the bird himself, Commander, and Commander did show up, so that's fun. I'm happy that he signs. Yeah, he showed up, showed out, and he's gonna do well here. But yeah, so that's just me.
I mean, again, it's all fair. It's one of those things where Bullet Club, again, they literally have taken over in every company. So at this point, you're just wondering, where does the strength, the leadership, the power truly lie in Bullet Club? And right now, when you look at AEW and NJPW, and Forbidden Door has both, how fitting, it just feels like we're on the verge of Bullet Club's civil warfare, especially since the Japanese side of things, one ELP has been extricated from David Finlay's Bullet Club, and the Raw Clark Connors has taken his place. So both sides right now are shaping, and it wouldn't surprise me if they look towards outside talent to build their defenses. And Switchblade Jay White, everything he does happens for a reason with planning, and you always owe him you're welcome in the end.
You know what's crazy? This ain't the first Civil War.
No, not at all. Are you kidding me?
The first Civil War. So.
Do you not remember Firing Squad? Freaking Tonga Loa freaking leading the charge against the freaking Elite.
Bro, you got Firing Squad. Now you got Gold. Yo, so I feel like Bullet Club is about to break up. Well, a certain branch is going to break up because at this point, I feel like this Civil War is going to lead to Forbidden Door. So I hope that this Ricky Starks feud ends at a certain point, so we could do that because ELP, man, I love that headbanger motherfucker, dog.
I agree, and don't forget, AEW All In. He's from that area. I mean, it could happen. There's a reason why Ace Austin and Chris Bay are no longer called Bullet Club in Impact Wrestling. They're called ABC. I don't think that is coincidental, even if it is their finisher.
Wait, they're not Bullet Club no more? That's crazy.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, they represent Bullet Club, but they're not named Bullet Club. They come out to the Bullet Club theme, but they're simply called ABC.
I need to watch more Impact.
Yeah, it's it's gotten better. I might be going against odds. Haven't decided yet. Well, again, speaking of stuff that works well versus stuff that just is waiting to implode, we talk about Civil War. Different Civil War here among people that call themselves friends, legit friends, versus those trying to be friends. We go backstage to the two-time AEW Tag Team Champions FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, when Renee Paquette tells them that Mark Briscoe has been assaulted by the varsity athletes earlier in the night. And we go to the locker room and find Mark Briscoe there being counseled by Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. And basically, Mark decides that, y'all want to get revenge for me. I may not be cleared, but y'all are. Why don't you all come together and get some revenge for me? And begrudgingly, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, they shook on it with FTR. The 4-person sum was made, and we'll see how that all coexisted on Rampage. Not much more to say there. Mark Briscoe, just the guy stuck in the middle with you. All right.
Mark Briscoe.
Respect them, boys. Speaking of respect, we get a promo that you thought was going to be about respect as the Ocho, Chris Jericho, went face-to-face with Adam Cole. Baby. Adam Cole literally said that for somebody that's followed my career, he knows how much I idolize him. The catchphrase was inspired by you. And someday I said I wanted to be like Chris Jericho. Now here we are in AEW, and we are in the ring together for the first time, and I think that's pretty cool. And Chris Jericho counteroffers that, says, glad you have this kind of admiration for me. I appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words. So let me tell you from the bottom of my heart that I have zero respect for you. I think you're arrogant. I think you're obnoxious. And the audacity you showed when you interrupt my celebration, you're lucky that I don't slap your dumb face right now. Yeah. And then Adam Cole's like, oh, okay, so I'm hypocritical. So what does that make you, Chris Jericho? When was the last time you look at yourself in the mirror and ask who the real Chris Jericho is? You an egomaniac with a Jericho Appreciation Society win matches for you? Are you a Chris Jericho that's just insecure, fickle, stupid idiot? And at this point, you want to confront me? I'm right here. So you want my attention? You got it. And you knew this had to lead to some sort of altercation at some point. What Jericho says, you don't impress me, but you know, it's one of those things that you never want to meet your heroes. So you don't want to know, so you should get out of my ring right now if you don't want to know what happens when you meet your hero. Adam Cole, he was not going to back down. That's just the way he is. Here comes Daniel Garcia, and the multi-person beatdown's underway before, of all parties, to come out here. Not Keith Lee, not returning Cartwright. Well, I knew Cartwright was going to show up. He's still recovering from injury. Get well soon. That's his ride and die partner for life in wrestling. No bottom line. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, comes out here and stops Chris Jericho and slaps him. Only for the Outcast, it was a ruse, to come out, clearly this was planned, from underneath the ring, and next thing you know, Adam Cole, he is handcuffed to the bottom rope and is left there to watch one candlestick wearing Jericho pass off said weapon to Saraya, who decided to give her own capital punishment to one good doctor to her lower back. And as Jericho laughed on and Saraya calculated her shots for reasons, after they were done and they were both reaching out for each other, could do nothing, Saraya and Jericho hugged and celebrated. This was awkward to say the least, and I do hope this is not leading to, dare I say it, a mixed tag team match. Because Outcast and Jericho side together? No. If nothing else, Adam Cole's pissed off. Baby.
Don't you love those kendo shots, though? Don't you love them kendo shots?
Let's just call it as we see it. Execution is key. That was not great execution.
But like, for real, the funniest part about this was Jericho. My man's like, really? You idolize me? Well, fuck you. Like, that was actually pretty hilarious.
I wouldn't expect nothing less from Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Not this character.
That shit was hilarious. But the thing is, I actually can't wait to actually see this. Like, I really can't wait, because this is like looking into a mirror. You got Cole and you got Jericho. Even though Cole look like skin and bones, but he still a good wrestler though. So he makes it work. But this might be a actual pretty good match. Like, juicy, especially with the part with the social outcasts. I don't know why they decided to like show up, but I kind of get it, because you got Britt Baker there
by herself, because Jamie Hayter again injured.
Yeah, she about to be made of glass at this point. But one thing I would say is that it was random seeing the Outcasts, but I kind of figured that this about to be end up a mixed tag match. If not a mixed tag match, it probably going to be just a singles match with managers. So yeah, but those kendo shots though, love to see it. love to with Adam Cole doing his best. Stop. Leave her alone.
Exactly.
Like, just crying, just literally in serious, like, everything.
You make it as emotional as possible, personal as possible. That's what Jericho was doing.
Yeah, but the way he handcuffed Homeboy, though, that is some weird handcuff. Okay, so like I'm looking at the handcuffs, and these are some up handcuffs though. But because the chain was right there, but the little hook part is his wrist and the ropes, which is weird, but yeah. Well, but overall, it was a good segment with some good, back and forth. So I dig it. I can't wait for next week.
Pushes forward two feuds at this point, two storylines. You now got Adam Cole feuding with Jericho, and you got the Outcasts still at their odds ends, particularly with the Killer and the Pillar. So we'll see how this fallout ensues soon enough in AEW. Speaking of fallout, the entertainment was not done there as we go into trios action as the Acclaim put their freedom on the line and scissoring. Going up against the Jericho Society's Cool Can, Angelo Parker, Dynamite, Mark Menard, and Jake Hager. To say this was cool down would be accurate, because it literally was over before it was written. Because the caveat to this was that the Acclaim lost, they would be forced to join the Jericho Society until Double or Nothing. And this wasn't made official until Matt Menard posted a promo the day of during the Control Center. Basically, in the early going, Bowens did the Sesame Timbers on Angelo Parker, then Billy Gunn, or Daddy Ass, excuse me. He got tagged in, and he cleans house with some clotheslines. Then Big Hoss Hager comes in with a double leg takedown and a nice near fall, but that was not enough. Angelo Parker laid out Bowens using something that he still had up his sleeve. He tried to use it again, but Bowens was able to duck out underneath it, and miscommunication by sports entertainers. How fitting. Angelo Parker hit Jake Hager Big Jake and his dumb hat were down and out for the count. Daddy Az comes in behind Parker, pulls the loaded comb out from Parker's hands. I don't know how you load a comb, but okay. And smashed it in front of his face. So not only did Cool Hand Ange no longer have what he needed to keep his hair cool, he also had the tool no longer in place either. Next thing you know, Bowen smashes him with the arrival, and Caster finishes things off with the mic drop, and the Acclaim are victorious and continue to remain free of the Jericho Appreciation Society.
I'm gonna ask you if when the first time I saw this feud, I thought this was going to be entertaining as hell because you got both, and then you got the Acclaim, like
Right.
two groups that I know that's going to be entertaining as hell, and I really would be if the Acclaim would have joined the JAS, it would be pretty interesting. But I knew for a fact they're not going to join, so I knew it was going to win, and this would probably be a waste of time. But hey, it was a match. Nothing really happened, and freedom.
Yeah. Freedom rules are
There's
wrong.
more to say about this.
I mean, at this point, yeah, they won. So what does Jericho Society have left at this point? I mean, seriously, it's like, just, okay, here's the match. We win. We're done. What? You're going to go double or nothing, quote unquote, with this at the pay-per-view just cuz, and losing faction gets disbanded? It just feels so sudden, like, okay, here we are, done, bye, see you. Especially with the spot on TV. They were in the proverbial women's division spot, and this didn't even get a commercial break. It was done live in TV time.
Yeah. It was a TV match, a TV trios match, I should probably say, with a story that has a predictable ending. So,
well, there you go. That's entertainment, I guess. Sports entertainment. Oh, well, as we move on from there, it was time for the main event that was made in the beginning, as you sadly talked about, as the Sammy Guevara with Ty Mello. By the way, seriously, Ty Mello, figure out a way to get back on TV and wrestle, girls. Seriously, way too damn long. Sammy Guevara took on Jacob Jack Perry one-on-one for the first time ever. This match was everything I expected it to be when I consider the work ethic of both these men. Hence why Darby and Sammy have tremendous respect for one another, because they literally will put it all out there, willingly, career be damned, safety be damned, in the middle of that ring. Early going shotgun drop kick, and then Jack Perry is on the outside of the ring. Sammy jumps back, and then Jack fires back with a hurricane to the floor. But then Sammy Guevara retaliates with Spanish Fly. All the aero acrobatics you could think of, as Darby Allin was watching on high from the rafters, as he does. As Sammy and Jack continue trading strikes on the apron, Sammy was able to connect with a rising knee and then wipe out Jack Perry with a Spanish Fly off the apron to the floor. Jeez, he's lucky that he didn't screw up himself in the process. MJF then was watching on, like a normal person actually, backstage on a monitor. Seriously, you ever wonder about those angles? And Jack Perry continued to fight back though with a power bomb on the edge of the apron, but then Jack and Sammy continued to rock each other. There was a destroyer off the ropes for a near fall. Still not enough. Then Sammy comes back with a cutter, ace crusher, and then follows up with the implant DDT, 2 count only. As this match kept moving down the line, Jack Perry was able to hit a thrust kick and then put Sammy in the snare trap after a reverse Hurricane counter earlier on. But Sammy was able to make it to the bottom rope, allowing the hold to be broken via ref's count. As Sammy was able then to drop kick Jack, Perry went crashing off the ropes onto the timekeeper's Terryville. That was a nasty fall, by the way. Good grief, off the corner side nearly. But Jack Perry was trying to make his way back in the ring before the 10 count. And then Sammy, I thought he was going to go outside. No, Sammy grabs the referee. Referee's distracted. The definition of hit and run in the highest degree. Dynamite diamond ring punch from one Maxwell Jacob Freeman, who jumped the barricade, cracked Jack in the head, and jumped over the barricade to hide himself away. And Sammy Guevara wins via countout. As the two celebrate with each other in the ring in the weirdest way possible.
This match was, what you expect from both Sammy and and Jack Perry.
Up to the result, anyway. Yes, good grief.
Bruh, have we seen what? Okay, so the count out victory was, but the fact that they really did this, like, uh, of MJF to like just come out of nowhere, pop man's in the head, and then just run away, making Sammy win. I wonder what they're about to do this Dynamite. Are they like what would happen if Sammy wins this whole tournament? Or what happens if Sammy wins or a draw because or maybe the match thrown out or something? Because I feel like what they're about to do this week will be might help or kill the momentum of this whole entire thing.
Exactly.
Because they already have me jacked up when they started a 3-man tournament, which makes absolutely no sense because why we have a bye? Why was Darby happy he doesn't have the wrestlers? This man was like, yes. I'm like, dude, you happy that I thought you want to work. Like
Maybe
it
he
was
felt
so
maybe he felt like he worked enough, and he wanted one last match. I don't know. Anyway,
man.
or
I
maybe he
don't
was
blame
mocking
you.
it. Maybe he's like, "Woo, I got by, big damn deal." I mean, again,
Yeah,
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin. Yeah, Darby Allin. And like, but this is gonna be really interesting. But at the same time, I'm kind of like disappointed at the fact that this way happened
Hmm.
because this wouldn't happen if this was a tournament. Well, it probably would. If this was a if this was a 3-way, it probably would happen the same way. Bob Tim, he's down. Semi hit his roll up or finisher. He wins because of one name MJF. But if they let Sammy win this tournament, this would be the most baffling heel versus heel match. If this gonna be a heel versus heel match at Double or Nothing, but I'm just I don't know how to feel about this right now. I'm just a bit worried because this might be a bit like bizarre. So
The phrase of "proceed with caution" has never been more fitting right now when it comes to this storyline that's going to define what potentially I feel many would say your annual biggest, most important pay-per-views, main events. Again, this is your
yeah,
fifth AEW Double or Nothing, the show that started off for the brand known as All Elite Wrestling before Dynamite even existed. People go
yeah,
back all the way to 2019 that redefine a change in the industry for fans of professional wrestling. This right here, though, this is some sports entertainment level political bullshit at this point right now, unless they really pull a swerve and surprise us. So, yeah, proceed with caution because at the end of the day, when it comes to professional wrestling, sports entertainment, people remember one thing more than anything else. That's the ending. And that's why WrestleMania Night 2 will always live in infamy, if not more than ever now to what happened on Monday night. But that's a whole different story. Go check out WWE Aftershock. But,
well,
like,
that
yeah,
night too was
this
crazy.
ending was just why? Seriously, why? The match itself being booked out of nowhere for this time, I was like, okay, wow, that's shocking. But the ending, and then how long those two celebrated in the ring. Good grief, that poor scarf. Yeah, this was
My
weird.
man,
This was a weird ending to Dynamite, to say the least. Weirder than
homeboy,
usual.
homeboy, literally jump on the man's shoulders, bro.
Right. It's like he won the damn
Yay!
lottery.
Like, bro, what? This
Ah.
might either hurt or help this story. I'm just a bit nervous for
I guess only time will tell, and like anything else, to see how something plays out, follow the process. I wouldn't trust in it, but if you're curious about it, follow it, and then judge for yourself. And we'll be following the process soon enough. But before we get there, we had to continue on through Rampage, which
This is
thankfully,
Rampage, baby. The show
yep.
you've been waiting on.
Well,
we haven't.
it's one of those things. It's one of those things where Rampage again, it doesn't have a clear direction, but it can be used towards some direction. And this show actually gave us some direction towards something else they actually did develop. Another sub storyline in the women's division, which, in my opinion, the women's division needs more depth. So if this is the starting point with two of the youngest homegrown athletes, good for them. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. But we kick things off on a bout that I think is about. I thought what originally was about mutual respect with two all-time vets out of nowhere, and that's Jon Moxley and Christopher Daniels. And by the way, good to always hear good old JR on my screen and commentary as he welcomed us in. My voice, professional wrestling for life. And of course, we're still in PA. Bell reigns, and again, with the entrances that always take place on YouTube, we were off and running. Early lockup in the early going, and the Fallen Angel was taken down to the mat as he took control with a side headlock. Shades of MJF and Darby Allin, just saying. As the two continued working their way back up, though, and it was basically a subtle exchange, Mox goes down, does the same thing, and basically it's a back and forth. Then Mox fires back with some offense, send Daniels to the outside, and this is where things go awry. At least for the next 90 seconds of restaurant quality picture-in-picture, as they do the proverbial Rampage way every week. We go back, though, from break, and we see Mox hit a spiked pile driver. Nice timing on that. Near fall. Daniels, though, was able to come back, though, with a flatlander off the ropes, goes for Angel Wings and hits it, but he's slow to go in for the cover, so Mox was able to kick out. As Moxley was able to fight back from there, hits the sleeper. Daniels, we see him fading. Then Mox slaps on the Bulldog choke to make sure he's 100% out, but then Christopher Daniels still fights back until Mox changes his grip. So kudos to Jon Moxley, not just being the all-out, pun intended, brawler here. He won more so with the technical side of him. Just goes to show how dynamic Jon Moxley is. And again, we talk about Christopher Daniels and his technical background. He did not have an answer, though, for that modified position, Bulldog, rear naked choke, where Jon Moxley's body was up the mat and Daniels, the Fallen Angel, fell and incapacitated. Jon Moxley won, quick neutral bout.
I think slowly but surely, Moxley is going full blood sport. This man is literally like, I feel like when he first did Bloodsport, he like, you know what? I'm about to be an absolute menace now.
Just go look at his last Bloodsport match with freaking Android Alex Coughlin. That was insane.
Nah, man, you gotta see him against Biff Music, bro. That joke was crazy.
That too. Well, to be fair, Jon Moxley, he's in general crazy, but seeing his Bloodsport matches with, like you said, Big Music from last year and this year against the Android Alex Coughlin, when it comes to Bloodsport, Jon Moxley truly is home in that.
Yes, so I think he's using that for his style now. I'm not hating it, and I'm happy, bruh. I'm so proud of Jon. He didn't bleed. He didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, every 9 out of 10 matches, Jon Moxley bleeds, but there's the one match sometimes that he doesn't need to.
Bruh, that made me cry. That made me cry. I'm like, yo, I'm proud of this man. This man not bleeding. There's no blood in this man.
Christopher Daniels didn't throw him like head first in the steel ring post either, nor gave him a reason to bleed. So I mean, yeah.
At least he didn't do a dragon screw to then Moxie started bleeding. But anyways.
I mean, if your head, I guess, hits the ring apron, I guess there's a chance that again. 101 ways to make a man bleed. This is professional wrestling. 101 ways to make a man bleed. The next book written by Jon Moxley, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see it, honestly. Anyway, what I also can see, not in paper, but apparently in proverbial writing, apparently you could actually put an embargo on a wrestling move. As we heard backstage from Smart Mark Sterling with Jake Cargill by his side, they friend Tara Valkyrie and said that, yes, you will face her for the TBS Championship, but she cannot use the Jaded, as that move will not be allowed to be used by Tara Valkyrie during their match next week. And we go back to the ring and we see the Hardy Boys, Hook and Isaiah Cassidy, all come together. What a moment for good old JR, by the way.
Oh, you forgot to talk about how Jeff returned on Dynamite, I believe.
Well, that's because that return was the previous week. Remember, it was the week that James covered on his own. They took a hiatus since that point because he came in on behalf of All Eagle Page calling out Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy after that little loophole was put in the contract where firm may control our contract, but you can't boss us around. So they didn't like that. Next thing you know, there was a beatdown, and yeah, that was not in Britsburg. That was the previous town, which I can't remember. But again, you could look at last week's start for that.
Why the heck did they start talking about it now?
It's like they took a week hiatus, basically, to be like, he's back, and then we're going to talk about not the following Rampage of that Dynamite, but the following Rampage after, like, basically 9 days later. But yes, because, of course, the Hardy Boys are back together, and Jeff Hardy says that I'm going to retire from my previous mistakes, and we'll see how the Wings of Chains take me going forward. I hope that I can prevail. And again,
he better keep his word.
I really hope he does too. That's my biggest concern. And considering the history, particularly that one good old J.R. Jim Ross has with these two brothers, it definitely was a moment that took him back, to say the least, as well. So I do hope that, again, you learn from your past mistakes and you're not doing to repeat them. And then, of course, they talked about what's to come in the firm deletion as the fans chanted delete. But before anything else could be said, here comes the man himself on the screen. Stokely Hathaway, who's been waiting for the longest time to know when this firm deletion is going to be at the Hardy compound. And he demanded an answer. But Matt Hardy says that you don't need an answer. I'll give you one when I'm ready. And Stokely, basically, he's like, okay, you know what? Fine. God bless. And it was all ruse as the firm came back from behind. Big Bill, Ethan Page, and Lee Moriarty beat up everybody, particularly Isaiah Cassidy, who got hit with the Eagle's Edge. And before further punishment could be ensued, they drove him off with steel chairs. I can only imagine what they were going to do. And Isaiah Cassidy was saved for now, and that wraps up that segment. And then this message from Naturally Limitless, where, business as usual. The greatest tag team since John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction comes back together, as Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee will be in tag team action next week. And that was basically your filler segments that were non-wrestling in this Rampage. Good grief.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, click. Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I'm still like, okay, so back to the Matt Hardy thing. What's going on there? Why is Hook there? Hook is literally just there.
I guess he's got mutual respect.
This man is just standing. He's like Solo Sikoa. He's just there. He's just standing there, bro. He's just like, not even saying a word.
He doesn't need to say a word. Let's just put it out there. He doesn't need to say a word.
And like, okay.
I feel like at one point Hook just wants to go one-on-one with Big Bill, but that's just
I want Hook to have a 10-minute match against Darby. Both know how to wrestle, like technical wise. So I would love to see that. I need Hook to stop being just that. I need him to start like going after the TNT title or something. Like, cause this man, bro, when I saw him wrestle for the first time, it took me back when I used to did wrestling back in high school. I'm like, yeah, this man, I love this man. So I hope after this, Hook gets a direction. Maybe just match each week. Maybe on Rampage. Maybe on Dark. Maybe on Dynamite. But I want his matches to be longer and longer because I want to see if he could actually do this. Second, Jeff Hardy, keep your fucking promise. Third, I'm actually excited for this deletion match because I've been following the deletion saga since TNA. So I wonder how this is going to be. And and go ahead.
With the creative mind of Matt Hardy, broken or not, and the Hardy compound involved, where we'll probably get to see Senior Benjamin. Yeah, there's no telling what could happen.
I need Vanguard one. But and another thing, I love Stokely Hathaway. That man is funny, naturally. And back to Limitless, naturally Limitless.
Yes.
I know this is Dustin's final run, and I'm happy that he's having a good time. But Keith Lee, you've been feuding with Swerve for like damn near a year now. Why is like you beat Swerve? I want to forget the final match they had with it was Dustin Rhodes and Lee versus Swerve and I forgot the other guy. He was terrible. But
Parker Boudreaux.
Fuck him. But anyways, but I hope this match is gonna be a lot better because I think they're doing this match is. I think this is just a. This is this is a theory. All right. I think they're doing this because the last match was shit, so they want to make it right. Which is a theory that I made because I put two and two together.
Which is fair.
But this was quick promos, cool. Now where's the action?
Well, I mean, going back to action, I mean, heck, they were already in the ring, so that just goes to show how, again, Rampage gotta do those time crunches, gotta get those TNT commercials in and everything. We got Kiera Hogan versus Julia Hart, and we go straight back inside the arena, and we see these two already. Bell rings, and we're off and running. Julia Hart goes early going for that. What's trying to happen here? Basically, they were exchanging a little bit here. I was just waiting for Kiera to try and go for that kick, which she finally did after trying to get a comeback in the early going. After Julia Hart basically was like, "Okay, hit me. You hit me harder." There was a nice standing moonsault for near fall though by Julia Hart, but then Julia Hart stops, does that to stare around the arena, and she goes for the Heartless, but Kiera, of course, was able to counter to a quick pin attempt and was able to finally put Julia Hart in that corner, goes for that running slide around kick, still not enough. Julia Hart fights her way back, slams Kiera face first into the mat, and this time finally locks in the Heartless in a quick win. But here's the actual story to all this, because of course we know, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I lose track of these rampages sometimes, too much wrestling. We saw, of course, what happened with Julia Hart and Anna JAS with one-on-one. It was Julia Hart that spewed that black poison mist into the eyes of the Queen Slayer, who apparently is doing a lot less screaming and choking and more so is on a course for vengeance, because afterwards, her and Julia Hart, they brawled to the point that the referee corps had to come down and separate them. And the last shot that we saw was Anna Jade like, "You did this to me, I'm going to get you." So I'm curious to see how far this little saga goes and what I'm just going to call a filler women's rivalry, but at least it actually gives Julia Hart something to do besides just being part of the House of Black picture, further develops her character, and it actually gives Anna JAS something to do now. So how violent can these two go? And how well can they work together in this program? And will this be a solo thing to only coincide on Rampage? Or could this bleed into Dynamite? We'll see. But apparently Anna JAS is not done with Julia Hart of the House of Black by a long shot.
Yeah, they did the cardinal sin of any House of Black member. They skip her entrance. That was the cardinal sin. That was disrespectful. How dare they skip her entrance? Have you seen her entrance? And her song is so great. But
yes, I have.
But like besides all
live,
awesome, bro. Like this was a match, of course, and it was Julia Hart being a goth, so that's fun. So then yeah. Bro, time to try to get to the main event, but when Anna came in attack her, I'm like, okay, so they still so she still have beef with her. Okay. And they was brawling, and it kept going, and the bell rings. I'm like, oh, so is it this personal now? She just, bruh, all she did was spit at your face, dog.
I mean, you mess up a sports entertainer's look to the point that they can't see themselves in the mirror, or they can't see maybe properly, and there you go.
Man, that's a you problem. You need to
tell that to the sports entertainer.
Yo, this is what happens when you're a sports entertainer. But like,
hey, maybe she won't be a sports entertainer. Maybe she'll wake up from this and be the aggressive Dark Queen Slayer she was when she was part of the Dark Order. Maybe it'll be a subtle change for her, Anna J.
I'm just surprised they kept her theme.
Right?
I'll choke you. I'm gonna choke you guys out. I'm gonna choke you guys out.
Well, they took out the join us and yeah, but like I'm surprised they kept her theme.
I'm gonna choke you guys out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be revamped at some point soon.
I'm gonna choke you guys out.
I'm happy they got something for them to do.
Right? Do more with your women's division, damn it. To
Like
your homegrown youngest AEW female talents, including the youngest one of their roster.
Bro, Julia grew up. She went from a cheerleading blonde for the Hollywood Blondes to this. I am proud of her. She's finally growing up, bro. She's growing up, man.
Since covering nothing last year, and she's only gotten better.
Hey, can you guys hear me real quick?
All it took is some kinky spitting into her face just to wake up and finally get a freaking character. That is crazy.
This is awkward.
But
the way things work sometimes.
For real.
Well, we'll see soon enough when Anna Jay versus Julia Hart round 2 surfaces, but also we will see the future soon enough, maybe, for Anna Jay, if she will continue to be a sports entertainer, or like Julia Hart, will this change her darker, and maybe for the better? We'll see.
Hopefully.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Apparently dark characters work, so that's crazy.
Guys,
there you go. When we talk about time changes, people, apparently John Moxley and the Blackpool Comic Club, they have not changed. We go backstage, as Christopher Daniels said, yeah, that's great. I'm glad that, I'm here and everyone respects me, but I'm not going to respect. I'm here for championships. And as he says that, in comes the Blackpool Combat Club in full, but John Moxley comes in and says, oh, hold on. He's cool. He's an LG. And Dale said, well, I guess what everyone said about you isn't true, man. You still have some good in you. And next thing you know, Moxley, subtle tap. In the friggin' locker room, they assault him over and over again. And John Moxley subtly said, I never changed. Well, John Moxley apparently never did. But I guess Dean Ambrose was a subtle change at one point. But apparently, true John Moxley is here to stay forevermore. And basically, he tells Daniel to tell everyone they're wrong. Nothing is different about him or the Blackpool Combat Club. And so everybody is still at the Blackpool Combat Club's mercy. Who can oppose this foursome? We'll see. It wasn't Christopher Daniels.
I love John Moxley, bro. I love that motherfucker so much.
Hey, man. He is AEW for life. Respect.
He is.
And
I
professional
respect
wrestling.
that.
What I didn't really respect was what the hell was happening here, especially the one point where I found all four men doing the Fargo strut. Bottom line, folks, FTR, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal, they coexisted. Sort of. Can I team action against the Trustbusters. Artie, Tony Nese, Josh Woods, and Slim J.
Hello?
This was not an 8-man tag. This was a communication withdrawal.
All right,
in the early going, bell rings. We literally get a beat down, tagging into Cash Wheeler as FTR were controlling the early going, and then we get a double team spot as Mark Briscoe's watching on via monitor backstage. Lethal though blind tags himself in. Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, they take over some double team spots, do the strut. Damn it. Then FTR, they mock him with the strut, and then there's a commercial break during this. I can't believe it was a commercial break during this. We come back, though, and as we do find some bickering, there was a bit of subtle offhand team member saving. And in the end, Jeff Jarrett, he sets up basically one of them to finish him off, despite the fact there was a miscommunication with a shot. Either way, FTR, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal, they got the win after, he hit the stroke and he set him up for the pitfall.
Hello?
And Mark Briscoe came down to try and keep peace. There will never be peace with FTR and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. That's all I got to say about that. This was something.
I need to see them do the strut. I need a gif of them doing this strut.
Stupid struts.
Bro, that strut is... Have you seen Stone Cold do that strut, bro?
I can't answer. I'm sorry,
hilarious, bro. I gotta show that gif. That joke was funny. But I would say this though. This was something I wasn't really paying attention a lot because it was like you're going up against the goons, bro.
Pretty much.
Like, but it's still crazy seeing Jeff Jarrett in the ring again. It's still crazy to see that. Like,
I would not deny that. And he still is in great in-ring shape.
Right. This man is great. Like, I could... Jeff Jarrett...
Still can't stand him.
Yeah. like, but it's always good to see FTR. Yeah, but I think this might lead to a title match between My World and Jay Lethal taking on against FTR for the tag titles. Probably,
It wouldn't
hopefully.
surprise me.
It would really wouldn't surprise nobody.
No, and Jeff Jarrett being traditional and FTR being traditional, going all the way back to the Midnight Express, I could definitely see a great tag team dynamic with the 4 men, as much as I hate to admit it. So I think you're definitely on point there. As we go on from there, we get a video package. We got freshly screened from Cassidy's next defense of the AEW International Championship, and how he has been a phenomenal champion now, approaching, I believe, his 20th win as champion, and his next plot is now known. Yeah, I know, right? He'll be taking on the international sensation Bandito, and then it was time for there was enough time. It was time for main event, but not before they ran down this uniquely stacked edition of AEW Dynamite. We got fresh screens on Cassidy defend the AEW National Championship against Bandito. Sammy Guevara goes 1-1 against Darby Allin. Winner faces MJF for the Triple B at Double or Nothing, allegedly. And we also have Jay Cargill defending the TBS Championship and her streak against Silvera Logan Tyler Valkyrie, but Tyler Valkyrie is unable to use the Jaded /Road to Valhalla. Dax Harbour will go one-on-one with Jeff Jarrett, considering their fallout. We will hear from the new TNT champion Wardlow with Arn Anderson. We will also hear from Adam Cole, and also just made official after seeing these two come together, believing that they are the baddest, most intense tag team on the front. Why don't you face the actual tag team that defines that? The Butcher and the Blade go in tag team action against Kenny Omega, with Don Callis in the corner, and Konosuke Takeshita. And apparently we will also hear from Tony Khan. Take that for what you will. And more probably will happen, of course, on AEW Dynamite. Seriously, why you gotta even just be like, we're gonna hear from Tony Khan? Just make the Tony Khan thing like a surprise at this point.
Sorry, guys, I had to get off because I'm trying to get a hold of them before they go to the main event. Hey, can you guys hear me?
You fucked up.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we can
Okay.
hear you.
All right, so I've been trying to talk to you guys because I just realized that I forgot to tell one of you guys to text me when you're on a main event. Luckily, I came in when I came into the main event.
Right.
That's what we'll do going forward in future episodes. I was trying to tell you that, but apparently Discord decided to be a fuck nugget and not let me fucking speak to you guys live. And I was talking to nobody, and yeah, it was odd. So yeah, that was a weird thing. But yeah, continue with the main event. I'll just let you know. Text me the minute you're done with the main event and you're moving on to the plug, so that way I can be on standby for the outro.
All right.
All right, we're live, pal, but fair enough. Fair enough. So, as you've been waiting for Zero, now we finally get to our main event. And it was for the AAA Mega Championship, as El Hijo del Vikingo took on Los Fashions Ingobernables Dualistico. Not El Dualistico, like he was first named when he came in AEW, but Dualistico. And from the opening bell, who am I kidding? Before the bell even rang, what freaking happens? The dude just flies straight out the damn ring, because why the hell not? And we're officially off and running here. And the fact that they gave these guys, 10, 12 minutes actual bell time? And what they did, Jesus. Delvin Kingo, though, who didn't even get out of his gear, fights back, hits a ridiculous reverse hurricanrana, and a destroyer off the middle ropes. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? And we go freaking to a mid-match commercial break after this just started. And this continues moving forward. Jalisco then falls up with a wild moonsault off the ropes to the floor. These guys were like, safety be damned. We go back into the ring. Jalisco gets ridiculous springboard code breaker for a nice near fall. We see constant interference by Purple Grosso, Rouge, and Jose, the assistant, reacting to Jalisco, nearly pulling it out here a couple of times. The two fight on the top rope till Delvin Kingo knocks Jalisco down. Then Delvin Kingo leaps off the ropes, connects with a Canadian Destroyer to Jalisco on the hardest damn part of the ring. What the hell's wrong with you? And they both bounce off to the floor, and I'm just like, okay, the fans say this is awesome. I see a fan going like, ugh. Yeah, I don't blame you, because that could have made it a whole damn lot worse than what it looked like. That was it up. And FFI seeing so far that Delvin Kingo's going for another big spot to try to get him off the ring apron, but he leaps off with a springboard move. Referee sees what's going on here. Different official, by the way. Must be a new official part of the AEW core. He ejects LFI from ringside. Both men, though, go back in the ring. Let's go with a quick roll-up. Again, the referee distracted by LFI. LFI, you cost your own guy. And only gets a 2 count. Delvin Kingo kicks out, blasts him with a corkscrew kick. That was furious. Comes off of the ropes in the corner with the diving foot stomp for another near fall. Still not enough. Jalisco, though, with the Hurricane Rana off the top ropes to Jalisco as this continues to just escalate with how many times you can take a person over from whatever corner. The fans continue to escalate their chants. They'll fight forever. This was the loudest the crowd was this whole damn show. Shocking. Not really. And we see somehow both these men are able to recover. Jalisco looking for the submission win in the end, but does not get it. Delvin Kingo gets to his feet on the ropes. The red tells Jalisco basically what's going on is Delvin Kingo was able to make it to the ropes. He hits the running knees in the corner, then connects finally with the 630 senton. How the hell do you do that? From that close in proximity, off the top rope, gets the win in the end. Delvin Kingo is still AAA Mega Champion, but he doesn't wear a mask, so LFI are still going to get their pound of flesh. As they come back in and assault the man, and we literally go off the air. That was it. There's no saving moment with Commander. There was nobody else coming out on the heel Delvin Kingo's behalf, and they just beat him down and tranquilo. This was ridiculously awesome for what it was worth, the 10 minutes of actual ring time we may have actually saw. But overall, I gotta wonder now. Roosh challenge? Well, Paraprogroso challenge? Where do we go from here? Because El Heel de Vikingo is just a one-person army at this point between AEW and Ring of Honor. But this was great, and he is still a AAA Mega Champion.
Roosh is going to challenge. Like, there's no doubt about it. Roosh is
you
going
think
to challenge.
Roosh is going to be the next challenger?
Yes, but I know it probably won't. Well, he might challenge and lose, then go fight Kenny Omega. But I'm more.
We know that match is coming up, so yeah.
Yeah, but I really think that this is going to be a contest between him and Roosh. The match was good. Well, the match was fucking amazing because both men are absolute nuts.
Right.
Well, mostly Kingo.
I swear that guy's just 1 inch away from breaking his damn neck.
Him and Phoenix and Bandito in a triple threat, I would literally die. Because both men, all 3 men, will be crazy. Can you imagine,
gasping for air.
Can you imagine if Lucha Underground? Can you imagine if that's still around, and then you got all these 3 men in the ring?
You sure they would stay in the ring? They wouldn't just jump off the damn balcony or from the top of Dario Cueto's office?
Yeah, that jump would be insane. But it was a really good match. I know that Roosh is going to go up against Kingo, maybe for the title, depending on how the time is. If it's after the Kenny Omega match, that would be kind of crazy. But I'm actually looking forward to this, and I know it's going to be absolutely chaotic. It's going to because I love El Toro Blanco,
the White Bull, former 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion.
Roosh.
Exactly. So, anything but tranquilo, despite the fact they are Los Gobernables.
Technically are a branch of it, so that's fun.
Right, see. And again, Naito tranquilo. If Naito and Roos are at Forbidden Door, I'm going to lose my shits. That's all I got to say about that.
Los Gobernables.
It needs to happen. We need Roosh and freaking Naito underneath the same roof. It needs to happen. Just saying.
It could happen, but I know since New Japan works with CMLL, they're not trying to fuck with AAA, which sucks, but it'll be awesome to see.
Right, and again, that might be the whole reason that Naito wasn't at Forbidden Door one in the first place, but
yeah.
But that being said, that concludes that full week of All Elite Wrestling contests. Again, we got a stacked edition of the Dynamite ahead of us here, and we'll come back and reconvene, bringing you all up to speed. What happens this week in AEW as we literally now on the road to Double or Nothing. Time to get this pay-per-view defined, starting with our main event. But something tells me by the end of Wednesday night, that main event is still not going to be fully defined. Something's got to give. Jungle Boy Jack Perry is not going to take that loss. Not the way that it happened. something's got to give. I'm just putting it out there right now. But overall, it was a nice filler week, I feel like, mostly for AEW at this time. You had some good talent showcasing on Dark and Dark Elevation. And then you had this AAA Mega Championship interpromotional showcase. And you're finally doing something else with the women's division. So you're showing me that you can build maybe a little bit of a subtangent storyline with other talent, trying to push other talent forward. And right now, you're just trying to figure out your Double or Nothing main event, but you still have the one caveat that you have yet to figure out how to handle the TNT Championship, which honestly, in my opinion, has not been handled the right way since Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin.
Yeah, like they are doing the TNT title. Like I know that's a secondary title, but well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The international title is more prestigious than the TNT title, and that's crazy, bro. That title just being hot potato. I'm sick of it.
20th defense for freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy of this championship.
Give him a world title shot and let him lose and, rebuild himself afterwards.
I mean, at this point, Orange Cassidy might need to rebuild himself. He still might be wrestling at this point due to a broken hand. You saw what Buddy Matthews calculatedly almost got the win through. It was a mousetrap that allowed Orange Cassidy to survive. Buddy Matthews, I feel Buddy Matthews was going to be the guy to do it.
I was hoping Buddy wins, bro. I was pulling for him so hard. That was my buddy,
that close.
Bro.
That damn close. Even he said after match, that close. That friggin' close. If they would run it back, I guarantee you it could be a different result. But we also got to keep this in mind. Since winning this championship, the previous title holder has been nowhere to be seen either. Could Pop maybe come back and be the one to relinquish first Orange Cassidy of this?
Well, that'd be actually pretty cool.
I'm just saying.
Pop comes back and be like, "Hey, yo, give me back my belt, fool."
Like, oi, enough of this joke. As he always called first Orange Cassidy a joke.
Yeah.
But again, we're going to have to wait and see. What we do know is this. AEW continues to move forward. They are definitely trying to expand their horizons. There's more content, apparently, in the works. And they already got a hell of a summer ahead for them, starting with Forbidden Door. But before we get there, they have to get through Double or Nothing, and they have to make it a worthwhile show, too. Again, it's the show that started off for the brand, so it has to be important. It has to.
For real. Because Double or Nothing kick AEW off, and I feel like this about to be a full circle, because from how it was before, to the four pillars finally getting their chance to be in a main event, it's gonna be full circle, man. And I am here for the ride, and hopefully they don't fuck it up, because trust me, if they do, I'm gonna be here saying all types of. Trust me, but I feel like
Snake, I get you. Bottom line, we're gonna watch and see how the process unfolds. Whether or not it's successful or a failure is yet to be told. But again, that's still long term, believe it or not. But for now, we got Dynamite on the horizon, and we'll see finally if the streak is broken by either of the champions and their challengers, respectfully. And so much more, too. But again, thank you folks for tuning in once again to another all-elite conversation here on AEW Spark regarding all things AEW. Before we conclude, Zero, this has been an absolute pleasure engaging with you for the first time ever on AEW Spark. Anything you want to promote, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Zero Channel -0, and I do I run my own eFed on Fire Pro PW. We just had our one of our pig events, Hot Pursuit, with a crazy ass main event, and I hope y'all go check it out, because this was a work that I really do enjoy. And yeah, you can find that on my channel, and also my channel. Go to the channels section, and that's my other stuff down at the Zero Network. So yeah, if you like Fire Pro, yeah, then there you go.
There you go. I also wanted to jump in on the plugs as well, just to plug a couple things that Zero and I are also a part of. Shout out Triple Threat Promotions on WordPress.com, which is basically a conglomerate of a bunch of CAW leagues, Zero and myself included. And you can also check out Weymouth Youth Wrestling, where this man will be voice acting the character you see on screen, the 3D model of Namir Sagat. So be on the lookout for that. And just figured I'd, give that plug, give that shout out. So there you go. And yeah,
fair enough.
There you go.
Fair enough, producer man. Thank you very much, and thank you, folks, once again for always tuning in. Thank you, Zero, for being along for the ride in this all-elite conversation. Been a pleasure, my friend. If folks want to know more about me, though, know this: for I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. So find me on the Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to the entire AEW family on the Twitter. I'm going to work with them to figure out our next date for the AEW Impromptu as we approach Double or Nothing. And, of course, we see the landscape of wrestling continue to change and evolve, whether it's Stardom, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and, of course, WWE. And so much more, too. So stay tuned for more on that. And, of course, the Predicting returns next week with WWE Backlash, as well as play-by-play coverage courtesy of me and the Renegade JJ Williams at Cast 18 Studios on the Japanese Network vs. Mia, along with the weekly Saturday Night Shenanigans hosted by JJ on Open Mic Night. So stay tuned to be a part of that and have fun with that, along with us, me, and James here as well. And then, of course, we're going to continue, as always, on a weekly basis, trying to keep you engaged on all things All Elite Wrestling right here on AEW Spark. And that's just some of the things you can constantly expect and other stuff that's coming up in and out across my YouTube channel and other constituent channels here too. But as always, I conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you again so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bell when this video goes live on demand on any of these YouTube channels. Hit the subscribe button. Come be a part of these YouTube communities. Our creative content, passion, and activities not late anytime soon, I assure you. Thank you for everybody that's been with us all along these fun rides so far, especially for those of you that's been with me on my ride, on my simple YouTube channel, my simple brand as it's now called, as I celebrate my 5-year anniversary in YouTube content creation and in general in October. We'll see if I come up with something special, maybe live Q&A or something there. Who knows? Depends on my timing. But it's great to be back here once again, re-engaging with you all on all things All Elite Wrestling. So until next time, we reignite this conversation on all things All Elite here on AEW Spark. Make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And remember, we are AEW.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as AEW content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.